Hello, friends. Happy Sunday. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Congratulations to Seamus for being the official first because Carrie let you. And congratulations to Carrie for being the official second. There is no official third yet, but I'm sure they will show up soon enough. How is everybody? How are we doing, Carrie? I am so glad that you love those peanut butter cookies enough that you're making them again because they are fantastic. I agree. I really like them too. Which is odd because I'm not a big fan of peanut butter. You like your second? That's fair. That's fair. I'm really excited to do the nail art that I picked today, you guys, because I have been looking at it on Instagram, gosh, for probably half the week at least now. I liked the nail art I did previously, but at the same time I was like, I feel like I can do better, and I can. I know I can. It's your color. Second is your color. Fair. Fair. So I had to test this nail art out first and foremost because it is a technique that I wasn't 100% sure I could pull off. Thankfully, it is indeed a technique I can pull off, and I just realized I haven't grabbed all my tools. I need my cleanup brush. I need the pineapple. And I just found a catch on my fingernail, so I need my nail file. Kind of important. Kind of important. What is everybody else up to this weekend? Did we get anything fun done? Did we do anything cool? I personally was having IBS Friday and Saturday, so that kind of sucked. Obviously, for Friday, it didn't interrupt House Flipper, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed vibing with you guys while I worked through that giant property. At least it felt giant. It probably wasn't. We just talked a lot, which is fine. Talking is good. Like Gouda cheese. I don't know if talking is better than cheese, though. Things to ponder. Things to ponder. Do I have any more catches? That's what I'm checking right now. I don't... Oh. I cleaned my nails up yesterday after my shower. But sometimes 24 hours later is when I'll find weird little instances that I need to go in and just take down real fast. Get rid of. Be mindful of. Oh, that's better. That's better. So yeah, no, I am looking forward to this nail art. I have been really excited about this nail art. This is with a new plate that I just got. It's with the latest Holo Taco collection. It uses what is arguably one of my favorite top coats. And it's in my favorite color. Like, I mean, we're just checking all of the boxes. How can I not be excited? And I will even show you the inspiration because I found the Instagram reel that inspired me to do this. And I have it paused where you can see the effect because this particular person on Instagram only does reels. So there are no still images of this, which kind of made me sad because still images are so much easier to appreciate. But I think reels have a higher chance of like pushing your content out to people. I'm not 100% sure how the algorithm works. You would think I would know how the algorithm works since I need to use those social media platforms to push my own content. But alas, I don't. I am not a marketing expert. I really should probably become more of a marketing expert because that would help me in the long run for all of my adventures in life. But I am not. Not everybody can be super marketing smart. And that goes for me. It's always been the one place that I really struggle is with marketing. Like, I'm sure you guys all have that one skill that you just wish you had and you can't seem to make happen. Mine is marketing. I'd like to say it's being able to draw really well or something like that, but no, it's marketing. I really wish I was a better marketer. I'm just not. I'm just not, and I've had to come to accept that because I don't know. I think it's my brain. I really do think it's my brain because when I see a lot of advertising on the internet or marketing gimmicks or whatnot, my brain immediately is like, who falls for this? Like who actually gets grabbed by this? And yes, every now and then I see a product enough that I get curious about it, but that's the thing, like it's repetition for me that gets me drawn in, not usually the gimmick. I am typically very acutely aware that I'm being marketed to. And so I don't particularly like feeling that way, and then thusly I don't want to make people feel that way. Like I struggle to walk that fine line between I'm marketing myself and give me your money, bitch. You know? Like I feel like there's this subtle art to it, and I have not mastered that. Maybe I have, and I just don't trust myself. I mean, there's also that possibility too, right? But yeah, I struggle with marketing. I struggle very hard with marketing. I struggle with the idea of making a promise that I can't not keep, and then people like shitting on me for it, which understandable if you tell somebody that this product is going to give you the softest hair of your life, and then they use your product and their hair is just coarse and brittle and dry and shitty, you would expect them to come in and be like, this product does not work. And so I guess I'm also worried about that, right? Promising something that somebody somewhere might not find true and then wants to take me to town for it. Like, I've got pretty thick skin, but at the same time I have rejection sensitivity disorder or dysphoria. I think it's dysphoria. So as soon as somebody says something negative about me that I can't look at them and be like, you're a troll, I'm immediately like, oh my God, they hate me and I have to fix this. And oh Lord, it's part of being a people pleaser. Like, it's a struggle. It is a struggle. So yeah, marketing, not my strong suit. Yeah, I don't even know how I got on marketing. Skills. Something about skills. Oh, right, the Instagram algorithm. That's how I got down there. Anyways, speaking of Instagram, speaking of nail art, I'm going to just bring you guys on over here. There's my fancy handy-dandy fingers with their stain from, you know, previous polish. All cleaned up. I'm having a little bit of a issue with this pinky right now with dry skin. I have oiled my nails today. So, like, within the last hour, they were oiled, and as you can see, my skin is still like, meh. Because we are getting to the dry season, and that's just what my skin does. Yeah, you can see those little weird catches. That's better. So hard for me to do this still with the way my thumb feels. It's still so hard. Batwoman, hello, welcome in. How are you? Also, Seamus, I saw that 275 stream streak, which is ludicrous and amazing, and I appreciate you for it. So, I'm going to show you first what the inspiration is, okay? Okay, are you ready for this? Look at that. Is that not friggin' gorgeous? I am doing fantastic. I'm glad that you're having a happy Sunday. Happy Sundays are good Sundays. So the idea behind this is it is a magnetic polish, and you want the top color that you're going to stamp on there or hand paint if you have those skills to match part of the magnet where it's, I believe, not magnetized, where the color isn't, where the darkness is. so that it only shows up when the magnetizing can be seen. So I am going to go with bats. Like, you can see if I shift it a little bit how it gets dark and the bats kind of disappear, but with the direct light on it, it's a little harder to see. Whoop, it's a little harder to see that there. If I cover some of the direct lighting, you can see it disappearing. So that's the idea. I had to test it out. It took me like 3 samples to come up with what I exactly wanted to do. I don't often super plan my manicures out, but today was one of those days. Yeah, if I do this, it's a little easier to see how it starts to disappear, but this is like a very bright direct light so that you can really see what's going on. You can really see all of the details so that I can see what I'm doing. So it's a little harder to show you the true effect. Maybe up here it'll show a little better. Yeah, just a little, if it chooses to focus on just a little better. And it is actually a purple base. It's just that you're really getting to see the magnet part of it intensely in the light. So that's what we're working towards today. And I am stoked because I love these color combos. So what I'm going to need to do this, obviously, let me shake them as we go. Give them their pre-shake. Give them their pre-shake. So important. And I roll it to try and minimize the chance to get bubbles, right? Because nobody wants bubbles in their nails, least of all me, and every now and then it happens, and then I get really frustrated. So you have to start with a base coat, so I will be starting with smoothing base from Holo Taco. That's smoothing base, and I'm just using the basic one. They do have a pink one. If I was doing something with more of like a red tone to it, I would probably use the pink smoothing base, but this is not a color that needs that. So this is like a neutrally smoothing base, and I use it because you can probably see as I shift, there's like ridges in my nails, and this is from Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It can be from nail damage and stuff, but for me personally, the ridges in my nails is because of my thyroid issues. Your thyroid's really important, and it fucks shit up when it's not doing what it's supposed to do. On top of the smoothing base for my base color, I'm going to be working with one of my new favoriteest purples. I really love this purple. And it's called Just Vamping. It came out with the latest Holo Taco collection for Halloween. It is a crelly, which means it's a creme, but also a jelly. Therefore, it does not cover super well in the first go. It's not supposed to. It's buildable. You will need multiple coats with this. Like, there is no getting around it. You need multiple coats with a crelly, but it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. And I really love this like rich eggplanty purple color. It's so good. It's so good. Obviously, though, that's not a magnetic. So Starly released, I want to say they were among the first. They're the first one that I was aware of. They released a magnetic top coat. So instead of it being a magnetic polish, it's a top coat that can turn any polish into a magnetic effect. These do have their own pigments. Hi, Dova. How are you? Welcome in. They do have their own pigments, so you've got to pair them well. This one has like a golden pigment. So this is called Magma. And it's a magnetic top coat. You need a magnet to make it work. So I've got a giant one, and I can literally pull, you can see, like I can shift the magnetic pigments just in the bottle. So that's what you do with your nail to give it the darker part versus the not darker part. So yeah, this is Magma. I believe, if I remember right, it was Collect who got this for me off of my throne wish list. So Collect, I love you. I appreciate you. Because this was so good. So yeah, we're going to be doing that to get our magnetic effect. Decent today, trying to decide if I want to buzz up to my Oh, yeah. That's always hard to decide if you want to actually leave the house or not. My usual go-to is not really. And yet at the same time, I often want to leave because I get stir crazy. I get very stir crazy if I stay home for too long. So the bats that I'm putting on this are stamped. And they're going to be in my favorite purple Maniology stamping polish, which is Baroque. That's exactly where you're at, Dova. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. So, if I'm reaching for a purple stamping polish, it's almost always B421 Baroque. Almost always. I love this particular purple. Again, it's that dark eggplanty color purple, which is what I like. I really like those eggplanty purples. I don't want to people today, and yet it's so lovely out. You want to be... Yup. It's like, let me be outside, but don't talk to me. And then, of course, once we're done, we're just going to finish it off with a nice glossy top coat, and this is Glossy Taco. The nice thing about Glossy Taco and why I reach for it so frequently, aside from the fact that I'm just a big fan of Holo Taco, is the fact that Glossy Taco is a quick dry top coat, which means that once about 15 minutes have passed, it's dry to the touch. Now, there might be a misunderstanding with what this means. This does not mean that your entire manicure is dry in 15 minutes. This means that after 15 minutes, for the most part, you're safe. But if you bang your nails on something, if you try to wash the dishes, if you try to use them as tools, which you shouldn't be using your nails as tools anyways, but like, we're human, things like that, anything that's going to put a lot of pressure on your nails, you're still going to dent them, you're still going to like shove the polish. You're just not going to smear the top of it as easily. So the quick dry top coat is really important for doing nail art so that you can move on to the next step if you're doing something with vinyls or striping tape. It's important for if you're going to be doing nail art with acrylic paint, which a lot of people do, so that they can actually use an orange stick, which are those little wooden sticks that you often see people using to push their cuticles back. They use them for that to like scratch off where they've gone too far with the acrylic, because you can do that lightly on top of the top coat. And it dries it enough so that like when you need to go to the bathroom, you're not gonna smear it on your skin. You can do light things around the house, you know, get yourself a sandwich or a bowl of cereal or something. Like, it's just enough to give you functionality back with your hands without having to sit and wait for an hour for it to fully dry. The full dry time on nails in general for a basic number of layers, and when I say basic, we're talking base coat. Oop, I really smacked it that time. Base coat, 2 layers of base color, maybe a specialty topper and top coat. So no more than 5 thin layers. Average dry time for all of that to get it fully dry is around 2 to 2.5 hours. So plan for that when you do your nail art. This is why I never do my nail art late at night, even though that's when I feel the most creative, because I have to go to bed. And you can't go to bed within the 2.5 hours that you just painted your nails, because you will lay on them and smush them. And then you're going to have smushy lines in your nails from sleeping. And worst case scenario, if it's smushed for long enough, you could end up with nail polish stuck in your fabric. And that ain't never coming out. Like, it's ruined. Just toss it. So yeah, you gotta be mindful about those things. You gotta be mindful. Is important. Oh, so good. I love water. All right. Acetone into my little container, because acetone evaporates in the air. So rather than having my entire giant bottle of acetone, and this is pure acetone for the record. I don't use nail polish remover. I use pure acetone, cosmetic grade acetone. I put it into a little shot glass that this is all it's used for, is the acetone. Sparkly! Sparkly, thank you so much for the raid! Welcome on in, Raiders. My name is Saknika, but you may also hear me called Sam. I am a member of Everbright Global Gaming and Set the Tone, and I am a variety streamer here on Twitch, and today is just like a little bit of self-care Sunday, painting my nails. Welcome in. How are you guys? Sparkly, how was stream? We got Sparkly and Kissy and Nate. Oh, all the teammates are here. Hemlock, congrats on being the official third. Welcome in. I missed it. I missed it. Who-Mans. What is Who-Mans, Sparkly? I have never heard of this game. And you guys, if you're not following Sparkly, if you haven't checked them out, 10 out of 10 you should. They're adorable. They're good vibes. They're super chill. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. In fact, any of the little pop-ups that just came up for my teammates, you should check them out. Even Kissy. Kissy will tell you she's not a streamer, but you should still check her out because every now and then she does hit that go live button, which means she is in fact a streamer, despite what she might tell you. How are you guys doing? Shh, no, you can't shush me. We don't talk about that. But we do talk about that. I've seen the memos. My chair wheel is in exactly the wrong spot. There we go. Now I can get all the way up to my desk. Now I can get all the way up. I have a footrest under my desk because I am short and thus I need something to put my feet on. And the footrest interferes with the chair wheels pushing up to my desk. Of course, Sparkly, if you need to raid and run, if you have to come in and just immediately boot, scoot, and boogie, I totally understand. You've been streaming, you gotta get the post-stream self-care. It makes sense. I still appreciate you bringing in the raid. I appreciate anybody who wants to stick around, who wants to lurk, who wants to chill. You can chat, you can anonymously follow, you can just literally close the tab if this is not your content. Like, I will not be offended, but I will be grateful. You should send me a pic of your nails. Absolutely, I want to see. I love to see nail art. I love all of it. It makes me happy. We're working on this today. This is what we're going for. It's purple and batty and magnetic, and I love it. Yes! Yes, I must see. I must see. Right, Hemi? I was excited. Sparkly, they're so pretty! Nightmare on Elm Street. I love it. Did you do them yourselves or did you do it yourself or did you have them done? I think I remember you saying that you get them done. You get them done. They look gorgeous. They look fantastic. I love them. What a good Halloween look. See, that's a level of skill that I don't quite have, hand painting. You're welcome. Hand painting is outside of my my foray. I can nail stamp. I can nail stamp with the best of them. I'm getting into the reverse stamping, but actual hand painting artwork, yeah, no. Hand painting is really hard, isn't it, Hemi? Get that out, because you gotta have your cleanup brush. And I'm going to get a little acetone on a cotton ball, because the very, very, very first step, woohoo, to nail art is dehydrating your nail beds so that the polish sticks better. There's no oil to create a barrier, so I'm literally just swiping with acetone to take off any little bits of excess oil, which, yes, it's going to dry out my skin. Yes, I will have to deal with that afterwards with some nail oil. but I need them dehydrated so that my nail art sticks. And then it's in with the smoothing base. Always, 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 I start with painting my dominant hand with my non-dominant hand because it's easier to switch to painting with your dominant hand from your non-dominant hand than vice versa. That is probably the number one piece of advice I ever learned. Start with your non-dominant hand being active first. Second best piece of advice was clean as you go. And I mean, that's just true of life, right? Clean as you go. But while the polish is wet, it's easier to get it back off of your skin. So I took that one to heart. Another trick is to stop the shakes because I have them too. I brace my hands on a solid surface. So my painting hand is not in the air. It is braced on my desk, on a flat surface. Will you actually put, thank you, some polish on that part of the nail? There must be a dip there or something that the brush is just not hitting. Which is wild. I have very odd shaped nails, I feel like. And again, I'm certain as I hit with the cleanup brush a little too well. I'm certain some of this is just Hashimoto's related, where my nail beds don't grow properly. Although this hand in particular, or rather this finger, is double compromised because there's this scar right here. And that's from where I lost to a bagel slicer in my youth. It was a dumb moment. I made a big stupid. Like a really big stupid. Had I used my brain, fully used my brain for maybe 5 minutes, I would have avoided that injury. I accept responsibility for my dumb. I used to work in a bagel shop, in a Brugger's Bagels. And if you've ever worked in an actual bagel shop or had a not commercial bagel, you know how sticky all of the toppings are for bagels. And slicing them, we had a bagel slicer that you pulled back the plunger basically, set the bagel in, and then pushed it through across a blade, and out comes a sliced bagel versus a not sliced bagel. The plunger was not solid, okay? This is important. It's not like when you pushed it in, it made a solid block and everything was self-contained. All it did was cover the blade or push something through the blade. Now, the bagels being sticky is important because it means that all of those toppings, in addition to sticking to your hands and to your teeth and stuff, also stuck to the rails of the bagel slicer. So every now and then you have to clean it out. Because obviously somebody getting a cinnamon sugar bagel doesn't necessarily want everything bagel stuck to it. So once it would build up enough, you had to go clean it. I opened it to clean it instead of closing it. You can access the rails in either way, because the slicer itself is clean. It's the rails that get gummed up. So it was open, and I put my hand in there to clean, and lo and behold, the sticky stuff was stuck on like cement, as it, you might expect it to be. And I pushed hard, and it gave way all of a sudden, and my hand went flying forward, and I lost to the slicing mechanism, as one would expect, and sliced my finger open pretty good. Not stitches good. I did not need stitches, but oh buddy, there was a lot of blood for a little bit. It was a little bit of a moment of like, oh shit, that's my finger bleeding everywhere. Now what? And the answer was squeezing it with pressure and raising it above my head so that it was above heart, and just, you know, waiting for it to stop, filing an incident report of dirty did a dumb. What a moment. What a moment. And ever since then, I've had that nice scar, and my nails in that particular finger, it does not grow properly. It's got a line down the center of it because I definitely damaged the growth plate for the nail. And I have a feeling it might also be part of why I seem to struggle to get that one corner. Now I gotta clean the machine for 2 reasons. You're not wrong, Hemi. You're not wrong. Unsurprisingly, they did not let me finish cleaning the machine. Somebody else went and cleaned it to free it of the rest of the bagel bits and now the Sam bits. Because we were not serving vampires either. No vampires were coming in for bagels and asking for extra. Oh my god, what a fiasco. I wish I could say that my manager like took good care of me and stuff because of that, but unfortunately no. My manager at that time was kind of a garbage person. I thought she was amazing when I first started working there because she literally, like, my very first shift went over like a fart in church, okay? The person who was supposed to be there with us to help with my training and stuff no-showed. Which I thought was just a poor reflection on the person. But looking back, I can now see that she probably was just tired of the shit. Yeah, they didn't need to add more blood to the mix. They did not. So I was stuck outside. It was a morning shift. So I was stuck outside at 5 o'clock in the morning because we opened at 6, waiting for somebody to show up and unlock the door so that I could go inside. So that was fun. Did get in by like 5:15 when my manager showed up. So the shift supervisor basically stood us up. And that meant, you know, keys. My manager immediately said that the reason why the shift supervisor didn't show, and I mean, this should have been red flag number 2, but I was like 20, maybe 19 and naive. My manager literally told me it was because the shift supervisor was addicted to heroin and shooting up. She had, quote unquote, seen the needle marks. I thought nothing of it. I was just like, oh shit, that's not good, you know? And I had been through an incident within the last 3 years of that position where I had a friend that ended up addicted to meth. So, you know, there was trauma that this hit upon. And that was special. I never did see that person again at post-interview because she was there when I interviewed. And then we had our very first customer of the day who came in grumpy, and my manager was kind of grumpy, and they had added, right? Why would you be telling that to a new employee? You wouldn't, Hemi. You wouldn't. But she gave attitude to the customer because the customer gave attitude to her. And then, and like this customer, part of his attitude was that he didn't want to wait for her to explain things to me while I was training. And like, so he wasn't the best person, obviously, but then again, you're in buying bagels at 6 o'clock in the morning before going to work. I also get it. Like, you're tired and you've probably not really gotten your coffee yet and you just want to get your bagels and go. So now you've got somebody training. It's going to take a little longer. You didn't plan for that, so on and so forth. People are human. But she literally, and this was the part that I was like, oh my God, my manager's so cool. She literally told the customer to make sure that the door hit them on the way out. Like, it was wild. The dude's probably just stressed. Exactly. And it is always amazing when you start and they slowly show you true colors. Absolutely. So, like, this manager, I thought was cool because it wasn't a series of the customer's always right all of a sudden. It was, wow, we actually can kind of stand up for ourselves. But no, she was just not a great person. She was not a great person. She liked to talk about employees behind their back, and I naively assumed that because I also, so the way I found this job was my belly dance instructor told me about it because her son had worked there because the manager was her sister. So I naively thought, since I know the sister and I dance for the sister, the manager really likes me and I can do no wrong. You know, that kind of thing. So cool in the early 20s becomes red flag real quick later. It does, Hemi, it does. Yeah. She talked mad shit behind employees' backs. She talked about how this one overweight girl that worked there clearly didn't wear a bra. I know now from later in life that no, bras typically struggle with people who have anything above like a C cup because they're heavy. Boobs are heavy and bras are not built for heavy. So there was that. She complained about one of the employees for always being in the bathroom because he had ulcerative colitis. Now, granted, this employee did have his own set of problems. Like, he was very clearly a conspiracy theorist, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was a flat earther. But it doesn't make him a bad person. It just makes him weird. And maybe not terribly intelligent about science. Like, just any employee she could talk about, she did. And I thought I was above it all until one fateful day where I had to borrow one of, I think it was like a spare shirt. We had a promotion going on. And I'm short. Like, I'm really short. But here I am. I'm a shift supervisor. I'm handling like tasks above my head, and one of them was dealing with these giant coffee thermoses where you basically like brew the coffee in the top of them, and then it's where they go to get it for your cup of coffee in the morning. They don't just stay magically full all day every day. You gotta fill them, and to fill them you gotta take them down and bring them to the sink. And holy shit, the ridges in my nails are really struggling with this polish. So this meant reaching up for me to get them. Like, the counter was pretty tall and it dripped on the shirt, and I had like a little stain near the belly. I had hoped that it would just come out, but alas, it did discolor the shirt. There's nothing I can do about that, but she needed to borrow the shirt next, and she saw it, and she called me to ask about something. I don't remember what, but she ended up leaving a message, and then she never actually properly hung up the phone, and I literally heard her in my voicemail complaining to the other employees that I had stained the shirt. And I was like, well. How the turns have tabled. Bras are not built for boobs, even though this is true, Hemi. First cookie batch in the oven, last time you did 2 rounds. Let's go, Carrie. Let's go. Right? It's such a good purple, Dova. So yeah, that was kind of where the rose-colored glasses got taken off, and I was like, oh, this person's actually not who I thought she was. I lasted at that job. Oop. God, I want to say for like 6 to 8 months. Not terribly long. If someone talks shit about other people to you, they're, yeah, 100%, Hemi. 100%. Yep, and that was the lesson I learned from that. There is no such thing as being above it. The only thing that they're gonna wait for is you to finally say something or do something that they can talk shit about. Brush, why are you so fuzzy? Yeah, so do not miss that job. And it's funny because I did still go into that shop because Burger's Bagels, honestly, has amazing bagels, and their chicken spetzel is to die for. But we had regulars there that knew me. Like, they knew me. And so now I went in as a customer, much to my then former manager's chagrin, to, you know, hang out and chat with the regulars and have a bagel. Oh, that frosted my former manager. But I had found a better job. So I did not need that job anymore. And the regulars were fun. I will say, some of the regulars did make me feel very appreciated at that job, because I had one lady, she came in every single morning. She was an educator. I can still see her face. Like, I could pick her out on a street to this day. I have no idea what her name is. She never gave it to me. And even though she paid with card, like, we didn't see the names at that point. We just swiped and they signed and away we went. She told me at one point that me working there had brightened her day because I always greeted her with a smile. I didn't think that was such a big deal, but apparently nobody used to do that. So I had moments like that. I had other people who they appreciated my cheery disposition. They appreciated my honesty. Like, I had a very good rapport with the regulars. And I was also the only person, and this was terrible. It was so sad. And I really, I hated it for this person. We had one customer who came in at least once a week who was deaf. And I didn't know at the time that many times deaf people are illiterate. So I didn't understand why she couldn't just write to me to tell me what she wanted for her order and wouldn't let me write to her. But there's a good chance that she couldn't read well or write well. But she would come in and she always wanted a Western. And I tried to save her money one day because she didn't want the typical Western. She just wanted what was the equivalent of a Western. It was like a bagel with an egg patty and I think 2 vegetables and a condiment. But she wanted specific vegetables. She wanted a specific bagel. And she wanted her condiment. Now, if you rang it in as a bagel plus a condiment plus 2 vegetables plus an egg, it came out way more than a Western. And it was the same combination. So I tried to save her money and she lost her mind because she thought I was going to scam her. But nobody wanted to deal with her. Nobody wanted to deal with her because she couldn't easily communicate. And I felt so bad for this woman. So incredibly bad. So I made it my mission when she came in. Because people practically drew straws for who had to go serve her. I made it my mission when she came in. I was the one that would serve her. So I did feel a little bad when I left that she was going to go back to the people who really just didn't want to deal with her, but my hands effectively were tied. I had to leave that job. Had to leave it. It was so bad. And it really solidified in my mind more too. If there is a cause, a movement that I'm willing to really, like really stand on a soapbox for, it's that in school, starting from kindergarten, like language is so much easier to acquire at a young age. Starting from kindergarten and going right up through high school, we really need to be taught American Sign Language. Like, no doubt in my mind, there is an entire group of people we cannot communicate with because they speak with their hands and we speak with our mouths. Like, I really strongly feel like if there's any language everybody could get behind, everybody needing to learn from a young age, it's that. It would improve literacy rates for the hearing impaired. It would improve communication for them. It would improve medical outcomes for them. Like, I really strongly feel that. But for you, you're so jaded doing customer service for 2 decades that, yeah, you definitely feel dread when certain people phone. You know what? And that's fair, Dova. I'm not saying that there weren't customers that I looked at and was like, oh shit, here they come. I just felt bad for her because the entire reason nobody wanted to deal with her was the fact that she was deaf. It wasn't that she was necessarily a difficult customer. They didn't want to deal with her because she was deaf. They didn't like that she pointed for her food and she made grunting guttural noises. Like, she's deaf. No, we had our fair share of asshole customers, 100%. Every customer service job does. In our case, it was college kids. There was a local college campus, and it's one of those colleges where you go to this college either because you have really good grades and you got a really good scholarship, or mommy and daddy have a lot of money. Yeah. That's okay, Dova. And these kids, like, the town I worked in, city really, businesses pulled out the stops to give like special discounts to these kids and stuff to try and get some of that like old money, right? They wanted in on it. Well, Brugger's is not a small business where, you know, the owner just gets to make a decision. Brugger's is a franchise. So we didn't have the option to give this special discount to the college students. And they would come in and they would demand that we take their student ID and give them their 10% discount. And we had to explain over and over and over and over again that we did not have a college discount. We are a franchise, not a small business. And they just lost their absolute fucking marbles. Hi, Glay. Right? Tell the university to franchise these nuts. Exactly. Oh my God, they were miserable. Between them and the dog owners, and not just like any dog owners, the entitled dog owners. The literal health code says that you cannot bring an animal into a food service establishment. In fact, they're not even allowed on the patios for food service establishments unless they are a service dog. And another initiative that this friggin' city had was being super dog friendly and letting dogs into businesses. Oh my God, the number of people I had to ask to leave because they had brought their dog in and they were like, you just hate dogs. And I was like, no, I don't want a health code violation fine. Thank you. Hydrate, you got it. So yeah, if I saw people wearing the certain college logo or carrying their little teacup dog, I immediately knew I was potentially going to have a problem. So those were my problem customers. I had one guy who I'm pretty sure was trying to rob the place at 6 o'clock in the morning once before. Pups are very excitable. At work, and my work customers will be on a bite. Yeah, they are still better than people oftentimes carry, 100%. Last thing I want my bagel is your dirty ass dogs for right ass dogs. I agree, Hemi. I agree. Yeah, so like service dogs, sure, no problem. Not gonna bother you. But these people, and this was before the whole emotional support animal thing became very prevalent. This was literally just, I want to bring my pet into your restaurant. So the difference, Dova, there is actually a difference. Hi, Crispy, a college kid with a teacup dog is bagel shop final boss. It really is. The difference is in how those dogs are trained. There is very, very specific training that service dogs have to go through to make sure that they do not beg, to make sure that they do not jump on people, to make sure that they listen immediately upon command so they know that they're working. And a typical dog does not get that training. A typical dog is going to sniff people. It's going to try to get into other people's business. And it's just dog behavior, right? It takes a lot of strict training to make a service dog. To the point that sometimes service dogs still act like dogs. They still start to be fussy. And usually the person who is using the service dog will excuse themselves from an establishment because they recognize that their dog is not behaving as a working dog, but as a non-working dog. Yeah. So it really, like, there is a difference. Our resort generally doesn't ask much, just leash and don't shit all over the place. Yeah, absolutely, Glay. Absolutely. And health code literally says that we cannot have animals in the establishments unless they are service dogs in restaurants and stuff. Like, that is an actual thing. You get fined thousands of dollars per violation. And they were like out in force that 1 year that I worked there, checking even the outdoor patios. And that was the part where I was kind of like, really? Like, people are just sitting at tables in front of the shop and they were fining them for having dogs and for being above occupancy limit. Like, we had to put signs in the windows for the occupancy of our tables on the sidewalk. And if too many people were there trying to sit or stand at these tables, we would get fined. Like, the code enforcers were literally power tripping that year. But also, like, holy crap. Yeah, so there are some things I don't agree with, but I don't make the laws. Service dogs go through thousands of dollars and years of training to behave. A typical dog or emotional support dog doesn't behave or provide a service. Yeah. Some emotional support dogs do, but again, they would go under service trained and they're going to receive the same kind of training. There's been an increase in people getting certified online, and I know that there's like a really big controversy about it because it has made it more difficult for people who are blind, for example, to be able to get their service dog into locations because people have abused it with their emotional support dog, that literally they just went online, did like a 4-hour training and called it good because they didn't want to leave, you know, Spot at home alone. They wanted to be able to take them with them everywhere, and they are not actually an emotional support animal. Is bacon? Oh my god, Seamus. It's never been an issue, so you never really blink an eye at animals in places these days. That's fair, Glay. That is absolutely fair. Yeah. Like, there are people who do it right, and then there are the few that spoil it for the many. And that's always it, right? It's not the vast majority that are ruining it for others. It's just a few people who feel entitled to something, and then they abuse it, and suddenly new rules and laws get put in place. You sometimes struggle with, on one hand, sure, on the other, it's only going to take that one person bringing... Yeah, yep. And some people do... They do try to get the weirdest of animals labeled as an emotional support animal. I feel like I remember an article about somebody with an emotional support crocodile once. Which I was like, wait, what? I'm pretty sure I remember that. And he was going into, like... I'm pretty sure it was also Florida. And he was going into, like, nursing homes and stuff and seeing the old people with this crocodile. See, way too many people let their dogs around off-leash, and the dogs will cause problems. Owners do nothing, so you have no tolerance for it. I've seen way too many dogs come in with deadly wounds from being... Yeah. Yep. There's that too, Hemi. Again, it's the few that ruin it for the many, and sometimes cause trauma or kill another dog. I think it was my friend Brandy who literally saw it happen once. And there was nothing she could do because you do not get in the middle of a dog fight unless you're trained to do so. That is dangerous. It's kind of like trying to save a drowning person and you're not trained to do so. You could end up drowning right along with them. Yeah, and if they break the rules or cause issues, we fine them. So it all works out perfect, Clay. Perfect. Your resort has it down. And then there's the people that buy emotional support animal vests on Amazon and put it on their untrained dog. Yes, Crispy. 100% there are those people. The problem children, as it were. Yep. And it's bad. It's bad. Like, I don't want to have more regulations and more red tape because I want people who need access to these things to have access to these things. However, at some point, you need the regulations and stuff to stop the true problem people from having easy access to this stuff. You don't deal with what ifs generally. You know, that makes sense. That makes sense. Until something happens, you just let it go. Unless it's obviously going to be a problem. The fuck? I don't know what Seamus is breaking up out there, but it's loud. Even service dogs have to be... Yes, on leash or on harness, unless the service they provide makes it dangerous. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, if a service dog acts up, it's different. Because you know that usually they're trained to not do that. Molly Burke is a blind YouTube content creator, and she's where I've learned a lot about service animals and stuff, because she uses one and she has experiences to share. And it's incredible some of the hoops that she has to go through to get her service dog allowed places because of people behaving badly. Like, she struggles to get an Uber because they'll see the dog and just don't want to deal with it. Thank you for the Lurkdova. I appreciate it. So yeah, like, there are definitely people who need them, and then there are people who abuse the idea of it. But she's even said, like, every now and then her service dog just cannot settle down, and so she thought she was eating out that night, but now she's not. Yeah, it does take a lot of money and time to make a service dog. And here's the other thing. A service dog will only be given to one person, and if it doesn't work out with that person, for whatever reason, the dog is then no longer going to be a service dog. And they do retire. They only have so many years of service in them before they're not going to be a service dog anymore. Because I knew a woman once who had trained a service dog for the blind. And the person who received the service dog had the dog for like 3 or 4 months. And then it was determined that they, in fact, were not a good fit for having a service animal. But this dog had already gotten used to working for this particular person and couldn't be given to anybody else. So the person who trained it, she took the dog back in, and it became her pet. But that dog was so well behaved, like, holy crap. I miss Dell. Dell lived to the ripe old age of 15. Wonderful, wonderful animal. Yeah, dogs. I love dogs. But I'm definitely a cat person because I also have been bitten unprovoked by a dog before. When I was young. And that definitely shapes your perspective on animals. Oh, thank you for being self-leveling, Hollow Taco. When I was 4, I was hanging out with a friend next door to my grandparents. And we had made mud cakes, and we wanted to show my friend's mom our delicious mud cakes. And we weren't being loud that I remember. We weren't running. We walked out from behind a boat. And the dog wasn't even nearby to where we walked out from, but it just ran over and bit me out of nowhere. Right on my upper arm, and like it had a jump. It was a little wiener dog. It was a hot dog. A dachshund, as it were. And I went from dogs are cool to dogs are terrifying in an instant. Right? They're always the most aggressive. They got something to prove. You don't care for dogs or animals. You don't hate them. You just don't care much for ones you're not super connected to. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, Glay. You are the kind of person that is not going to go out of your way to get a pet. Except for maybe a pet rock. I heard they're very low maintenance. Or maybe a chia pet. Do you remember those things where you would plant the like sprouts and then it would grow and look like a hedgehog or whatever? Savvy, thank you for the lurk and work. My old job, we had a dog who was a service dog drop out, and the lady working with him switched him to search and rescue dog training. That's cool. That's really cool. I can only imagine what it takes to become a search and rescue dog. And I have to say, that's like a really incredible thing about dogs. That they can be trained to use their ability of really good scent identification to like find people, or that they can be taught to navigate busy streets and stuff and make sure people don't step out into traffic, or they can be used to alert like their noses are sensitive enough that they can alert a diabetic that their sugar is super low, or they can recognize really bad anxiety attacks or meltdowns for autistic people and comfort them. Like, the vast range of things that you can train a dog to do is amazing. Glay has Epic. I don't know that I would call Epic a pet. Cha-cha-cha-chia! Exactly, Emmy, exactly. Oh my god, blast from the 90s past. I always wanted one of those, and my mom would not get me one. I think my mom recognized the fact that I would be interested in it for all of a week, and then I would realize how slow it took for that shit to grow, and I would lose interest. She had another dog, a cute tripod, who came in regularly for bathing since she was a reader dog for children. Aww! They would read to the dog for confidence? That is so cute. That is adorable. I have to say, I think one of the coolest initiatives too, speaking of dogs, that I've seen is the initiative for people who regularly visit like dog parks and stuff like that to have leashes that state specific things about their dog that are important to know, like aggressive towards other dogs, or approach with caution, things like that, where it's a personality trait. It doesn't mean that the dog is dangerous or bad. It's just like, sorry, my dog doesn't handle other dogs very well, you know? Around people that young and baths within 24 hours before, the good citizen type stuff. Yeah, Carrie. Yep. Responsible pet ownership. Because obviously, like, if you've gotten the dog, you don't want it to attack people or get into trouble or do something bad. At least I would assume you don't. So it makes sense that if you're going to be visiting these highly public places, that you might do something to alert people that maybe your dog is not the one that should be approached unnecessarily. And even though your dog just wants to play, my dog doesn't. Most service dogs are medium to large dogs. Smaller dogs don't respond or behave consistently enough to be reliable. There's also the problem of liability. A larger dog can defend itself better against a large animal than a small dog can. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And liability is a huge thing. Like, you gotta be super, super smart with liability. All right, we gotta let these dry a little bit before we go to the magnet part. Yeah. And I personally, like, I'm a small human. Big dogs scare me. So, like, to this day, even though I've gotten comfortable with dogs again in my adult years, they still scare me. I don't want to be approached by a big dog. Like, Mastiffs, terrifying. Great Pyrenees, terrifying. My brother has a bloodhound, a pure bloodhound. Wow, that's trippy to say. In Sue Happy America, we are very Sue Happy. And she's about the biggest dog I would want to be around. I think people just don't train smaller dogs as well as medium to large dogs because if they misbehave, you can just pick them up. You're not wrong though, Crispy. You can just pick them up and be like, no. Kind of like a small human. You just pick them up and remove them from the situation. Yeah, Ida, she comes up to probably about the bottom of my rib cage. She's a tall dog. She's a tall dog, and she's a big lover who flings her drool everywhere. Oh my god, Ida. The slime. The slime! I know someone who has a Pyrenees service dog trained to help her get up since nerve damage. Oh, that's fascinating that the dog can actually help her get up. But, like, there's a great use of a Pyrenees because they're fucking huge. But yeah, no, Ida, oh my god, she's calmed down as she's gotten older. I want to say she's like 5 now, but a couple of years ago in the winter, I had gone over to my dad's house, which is where my brother and sister-in-law live with Ida. It was slick outside. Like, the driveway was fairly icy, but walkable. And I got there just as my sister-in-law had gotten home, and Ida needed to go out to, you know, do her business and stuff. And my sister-in-law asked me, she had her held at the top of the stairs, and she was like, do you want me to let her go, or do you want me to wait for you to, like, come inside first so she doesn't jump on you? And I was like, oh, no, Ida, it's fine. It'll be fine. With Ida, with Bloodhound, like, you can be a little rougher with them, and she came barreling down those stairs so that she could say hi. And she leapt off the stairs, and she was no more than 2 arm lengths away from me, and I put my arm up, sorry, I hit the mic, to, like, block her, kind of, and then realized that I also usually lift my leg, and I didn't have the balance on the ice, so I leaned forward a little bit and set my foot down, and I managed to block her with my arm still, but her nose hit the side of my nose and broke it. Like, there's definitely, if you were to x-ray it, there's probably a crack in it, because I saw literal stars. Oh my god, it was my own decision. I do not blame Ida for this. She settled down immediately after she got to give me a lick. But, like, I saw stars. My whole face went warm. I'm lucky that I didn't get the black eyes, but there definitely was, like, some yellowing going on in here. And for a while, like, I could do this and it would go click, click. Oops. Whoops. The size of the dog does dictate the jobs they can do. I've seen videos of a Cocker Spaniel and Corgi as a diabetic alert dog. Oh, interesting. The only large dogs I will never be afraid of is Great Danes because out of all of my years of working in veterinary med, I have never seen an aggressive Great Dane, even when provoked. That's fascinating, Hemi. We have to work on the excitement level of some of your pups at work. Yeah, Ida was very excitable. Now, Ida is still excitable. She's still excitable. Like, I'm not going to say she's 100% calmed down at the age of, like, I'm pretty sure she's 5. Maybe she's 6. She's young-ish. She might be approaching middle age. Anyways, she's still a little excitable. When Pete and I, Seamus and I, go over to my dad's house, because they still live there for now, she gets excited and she definitely, like, she lifts her paws off the ground, but she doesn't jump on you anymore. She's gotten much better at that, and she will respond to, hey, sit, which she has this as a sign for, as well as the verbal part. But she'll sit for like a moment, and then she's got to come over, like, tail wagging the dog style to come say hi and sniff you and try to lick you and all this other stuff. But she's gotten much better about jumping on people. And it only takes her now maybe like 1 to 2 minutes to calm down and adjust to the fact that you're there, versus being excited for like 20 minutes. Doggy daycare tends to bring the excitement levels up. We work on that with them. Yeah. Pup excitement is one of the first steps in dog training. Makes sense, Hemi. Kept English Mastiffs. They're stupidly gentle. Yeah, they also, from what you've said, have really bad gas. So, the biggest dogs, and yet they are either the calmest cuddle lap dog or the biggest fraidy cat you will ever meet. Yeah, they're still bigger than me. So, I'll pass. Oh, can't lean like that on that hand. There we go. I slid in my chair a little bit, and I had to figure out how to get myself back up. Let's see. Okay, they passed the tap test. We can start with the magnetizing. Magnet nearby, because we're going to need that. Great Danes think they are lap dogs, even though they are the same size as the human. Oh my god, isn't it funny, though, when dogs think that? They're like, hey, I'm going to do that thing I did when I was a puppy, where you're sitting on the couch, and I'm going to put my entire body in your lap, and you're going to pet my belly, and call me a good boy, or a good girl. And you're like, bruh, you're 120 pounds. They really, like, it drives me crazy, because I'm like, oh my god, you don't fit. But at the same time, it's so cute. It really is so cute. They're just big lovers. And I especially appreciate it when they are somebody else's big lovers, because you know what else that means? I don't have to go out when it's, you know, negative freezing outside and wait for them to poop. I don't have to take them on the negative freezing walk. I don't have to carry the doggy bag because they shit in somebody else's lawn. I get to just pet them and love them and then say good luck to the owner. It's kind of like grandparents with grandkids. I imagine that's the same feel. Now we magnetize. Gracie was over 200. Jesus. Ooh, don't. Oh gosh. Don't stick to things. Don't smack things. Thank you, self. I apologize that it is wiggling, but this is a little bit time sensitive, so... And this is gonna be some weird holding, because I've got to get around to the right spots without sticking the magnet to the lamp itself. Yeah, it goes dark and it goes bright. There we go. That's what we're looking for. I'm just gonna pull it closer to my face so that I can make sure I got it. Where I can actually, like, see what I'm doing. I apologize that I can't easily do this part under the light. This technique 100% works better with gel polish, but I am not a gel polish girly. Gracie was over 200, Jesus. That's heavier than me. It's way heavier than me. You have a bit of everything, Carrie? I bet. The dogs that I see that are aggressive the most are young adult Chihuahua. The really elderly Chihuahua tend to be calmer, but that's because they are almost always in pain. Oh, poor babies. I never wish an animal pain. I mean, I don't really wish humans pain either, but especially animals. We're gonna go for the magnetizing first this time. There we go, yeah. Now you can really see it do what it's supposed to. Yes. Yes. Do this. Do that. Now we've got a good magnetize effect. Beautiful. Now I clean. Now I clean. Yeah, I've always looked at Chihuahuas with a sense of, you want to murder me. You are 5 pounds of pure rage. You are anger personified. And I don't know why. Like, I genuinely don't understand it. And then I look at Pity's and I'm like, God, your face is cute. Elderly Chihuahuas, because it's always they are obsessively they are obviously suffering, but the human doesn't want to say goodbye. And as a vet worker, I can't flat out say the best thing for them is to put them right. And that makes sense. That's got to be like such a difficult position to be in, Hemi. Because like, you want what's best for the dog, but you also don't want to be like, hey, you need to play God for your animal right now. Especially because some people just aren't ready to hear it. Especially if the cause is old age. Yes, magnetize me, baby. And it really, like, anybody who's had animals knows this. It is not an easy decision to make. You don't make that choice lightly. Yeah, pull those magnetic particles. It really, like, you can see the difference it makes. And to think this will be so much easier when I do my main hand. When I'm using my right hand to hold things. My left hand always looks so much better because I'm right-handed. Small dogs get that way because they don't know how to be a dog. They tend to get babied and never... Oh, you know, that makes a lot of sense, Carrie. That makes a lot of sense. Kind of like the child who grows up in a house where discipline is not a thing. There's no consequences for their actions. Until all of a sudden there are. And they don't understand what changed. Because I've seen that before. I have definitely seen that before. I will also say, I feel like there was probably a slight rise in people getting Chihuahuas in the early 2000s. And I say this because Jenna Marbles, who was a very, very popular YouTube personality at that point in time, had Marbles, her little Chihuahua. And Mr. Marbles was adorable on screen. You know, obviously none of us know how Marbles was IRL because we are not going over to Jenna Marbles' house and getting to hang with her dog. But he seemed genuinely kind of sweet. But Jenna also seemed like the kind of person that actually trained her dogs and took very good care of them. So there's definitely like that possibility that people saw this and were just like, I want to be like Jenna Marbles, and they got the dog, not planning on the actual commitment part of it. He was, but he obviously had a lot of problems. He definitely did. I remember the day that she told us for his own health they had to have all of his teeth removed, and I was like, holy crap. And apparently it was just like a Chihuahua thing that their teeth slowly rot out of their heads or something. Wild. Wild. Jenna did actually train her dogs and made sure they went through training programs and did what... Yes, she did. She did. Like, it is so obvious that she cared so much for those animals. And still does, because you still get to see Julian here and there, and while Jenna is not appearing on screen anymore, which respect her for the decision, Julian does keep us up to date with the dogs and what's going on, and where they're at with like rescuing greyhounds and stuff like that. Because I didn't realize that greyhounds are used for their blood in some cases. Like, that was a wild discovery. Especially in chihuahuas and poodles. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. Yeah, get magnetized. And then clean her up. If you guys could really see how I am holding my tools to get to my acetone and stuff, you would laugh. It's quite humorous, if I do say so myself. And I do. I'm like up like this trying to grab it because I'm going over where my my light is, like right here-ish. They passed inspection, only had to test 4 apiece, Gary. Let's go. Made an almost hour-long apology video about buying the wrong... This is true. This is true. I remember that. Oh my god. Poor Jenna. She just wants to do right by the animals, and she done fucked up and she couldn't help herself. It's mainly from overbreeding and people breeding their dogs without having them tested. Oh. I didn't even know you could test dogs to see if they would make a healthy litter. Like, clearly not something that would ever be on my radar, since I'm not a dog owner, and thusly certainly not looking to breed my animals. But I suppose the same could be true of cats. You know, of which I have 2 furry assholes with Seamus. The same could definitely be said of them, I'm sure, of you gotta make sure before you let them do the hanky-panky and make a litter that they're not gonna breed issues into the litter. This is always the hardest areas up by the cuticle bed. It's wanting to really work with magnets, that magnetic polishes, that makes me wonder if maybe I should get into gel someday. But then I'm like, oh, I don't want to ruin my natural nails from having to put it on and take it off as frequently as I do. It's a lot of blood work and genetic testing, but it's expensive since a lot of... Yeah, so people don't do it. Yeah, people don't want to put the money into it. Yep, and yet they still charge like $2,500 a puppy, because they're purebred huskies or what have you. That's another thing. Like, animals can be fucking expensive if you go to a breeder. They can test for several inherited traits. Some breeds have managed to breed out some very nasty conditions. Ah, one of the reasons we ended up with the abominate... Oh my god, yeah, poor pugs. And for, like, younger me thought pugs were adorable and cute, and their sniffly snortiness was just, like, you know, so endearing. And then as an adult, probably within the last like 3 years, I learned why they're like that, and I was like, oh my lord. Feel terrible. Feels bad. No. The poor babies. The poor babies. Yeah, this has to be the weirdest angle. But it's the only way I can really get to that side of the nail. Fuck purebreds.
See, I understand why some people want pure breeds. Like, just, I want, like my brother, he has a full-blooded bloodhound. He wanted a bloodhound. He made that choice. But he's also put the money in to try and deal with some of the things that can deal with a pure-blooded bloodhound. Like, I think it was her stomach that they had to have surgically hooked to her rib cage, I think it was, because of the fact that it could get twisted or something, which I was like, holy fuck. The Irish setters have mostly bred out a liver condition. Interesting. It's cute until you realize they are suffering and suffering and struggling to breathe. 100%. That's why. Hip dysplasia is a big one they actively test for and breed out. Oh, interesting. You can breed out negative breed conditions, which is what people are trying to do with pugs now. But giving them a longer snout. That makes sense. Yeah. Oh my god, I don't like it when I get a cold and I can't breathe. I cannot imagine that being my entire life. Which is essentially what I learned pugs are doomed to. And I just was heartbroken when I learned that. There's some working to do that with French bulldogs. Pure breeds have so many health issues because they go through generation after generation of incest breeding. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, incest is not good. Yeah, so Ida Red, funnily enough, she was from a litter that was meant to be police dogs. They were meant to be like drug sniffers and stuff like that. And she didn't pass, I guess. So she was one that the police were like, yeah, no, we can't. This dog is not for us. And my brother and sister-in-law were like, but she's for us. He did a lot of research, though, before they got the bloodhound to make sure he knew what he was getting into, that they were going to have the money to deal with health issues that may or may not arise, that they could, you know, do the things they needed to do when she was a puppy. And she's neutered. She will not be bred. That was one of the agreements. I guess the breeder that they got her from, the parents have like show dog ancestry or something, and so that was part of, you know, the whole thing. Like, obviously the police aren't going to be breeding them. They also work on making, they can give birth and, wait, what? There are dogs out there that can't give birth naturally? What? Like, they're forced to have C-sections? Is that what you're saying, Carrie? The stomach thing is called GDV. It's a common possibility for large dogs where their stomachs flip completely upside down and makes it so pressure... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that sounds miserable. And that's wild that there are dogs out there that literally cannot give birth naturally. Like, oh my god, if I knew that about my animal, I would be like, yeah, no, you're not having babies. Thanks. Like, I feel like that's just against nature. That's like nature saying this dog or this animal, not okay. So no birthy for you. Right? With bulldogs, large head and narrow hips. They're really? That's so weird. Their heads are too large to be able to go through the hips. If they don't get a C-section, they will die. That's wild. That's wild. And again, it seems like it goes against nature. Call me crazy, but I feel like that's against Darwin. All thanks to humans overbreeding them. Gotcha. Damn it, humans. How dare you? Really, anytime humanity
gets involved because they're like, hey, I have a great idea. We have problems.
Almost always. Genetics are fascinating, but clearly they should not be used by the wrong people. It always ends horribly, yeah. I've got staining down in here. Come on. Out you come. Out you come. There we go. That's better. Oh, I love the magnetic effect, you guys. Like, any excuse to use purple and magnetics. They look so cool. And you can see it gets dark in the right shift, which is where the bats are going to disappear. And that's the idea. Right? Yeah, and so I saw one video for it. For those who didn't get to see it, it's this. And that's done with gel. You can see how intense it is with gel. Because gel doesn't dry immediately, so you have more time to work with the magnet. And I thought that that person was like the only person who had done it, but I've actually been seeing it more and more frequently on my Nailstagram timeline of people doing that technique where they've magnetized and then hidden the design based on whether you're seeing the magnetized part or not. But I also just really, really love the purple with the like gold. To me, that's just like, it's quintessential. I am definitely a purple with gold kind of girly. I know there are plenty of people that like purple with silver. Not me. I'm purple and gold. I'm purple and gold. And I feel like I'm safe to ask if you guys are purple and gold or purple and silver, because I rarely meet somebody out there who's like, I don't like the color purple. I'm pretty sure it was just a 90s thing, 90s into early 2000s, that every girl's favorite color, I swear to everything, every girl's favorite color was either purple or pink. There was like nothing else. We all either liked purple or pink. Very few girls in the 90s, I swear, liked any other color as their quote-unquote favorite color. I was a purple girly. Even in my goth phase, I was a purple girly. Yes, the person here who likes to do pastel designs on their nails and stuff, was a goth at one point. You grew up in the 90s and your favorite color was orange! Let's go! Kiara, welcome in! Hence the color of your name. You know what? I'm here for it. I dig it. I dig it. How are you today, Kiara? Yeah, it was like, I want to say it was 90% of my class. If you surveyed the girls, what was your favorite color? You would get purple or pink. Very few picked anything else as their favorite. Those were like the only colors we had. That's true, Hemi. They were. They were. You really didn't find things in other colors. Oh my god, and all of our outfits. All of our outfits were a derivative of one of those colors. They really were. Alright. The light is about to reflect off of the stamping plate. Fair warning. Aren't wrong. It was 90% purple or pink, and it was like one other person with me who was like, I like green. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, that's a smeary mess. I can fix that. I can fix that so that you can actually see the design a little better and it's not quite as glary. And it's called rubbing alcohol. So you would think acetone, but the smears are actually from acetone. Rubbing alcohol cleans your stamping plates back up. And it dries relatively quickly. so that they're shiny again and not smeary. There we go. Now you can see the design better.
You missed the 90s to 2010 style, right? Right? I do too, in a way. I was talking with... My God, who the fuck was I? Who was I in... Was I in stream or was I just hanging out with somebody? Who was I talking with that was talking about missing bell bottoms? Maybe it was when we were doing the Scooby-Doo DLC. We were talking about fashion, I'm pretty sure, because God, that DLC is the 70s. And we were talking about clothes and bell bottoms. It was Moon Bunny. I was in Moon Bunny's chat. That's what. And you and Dova. Yes, this one misses bell bottoms. It was a combination because in Moon Bunnies we were talking about leggings and jeans and bell bottoms, and then we were also talking about them here. You forgot bell bottoms, right? Loved them. I loved bell bottoms. I loved the big cargo pants, the Janko pants, Janko jeans with all the like loops and shit. Skater pants, basically. Like, I miss those. I miss really big comfy sweaters. Though comfy sweaters have come back. They've made a comeback. I guess bell bottoms are making a comeback. I don't miss layering like 1,000 camis on top of each other. But I loved the long sleeves with the t-shirt over the top, like a band tee over a long sleeve shirt. That was always fun. The skater pants, yeah, I still have a pair. This waist definitely does not fit into them anymore, but I still have a pair at my dad's house in my childhood bedroom. I do. I freaking do. Because you had to have at least one pair. And I remember I got them from Hot Topic. And I was so excited to have them because they were like the last pair. They were in my size. And they were on the 50% off sale rack. So I got them for like $25. I couldn't afford them full price. I was a young person with an allowance, basically. The band tee over the long sleeve, right? You miss your body from the 90s. Same, Seamus. I miss that as well. Because, wow, it was super, super nice to be able to eat whatever I wanted and not gain any weight. I miss those days. Back when Hot Topic had its cool logo and was more than Nightmare Before Christmas and oh my fucking God, you're not kidding, Hemi. What happened to Hot Topic? Do you remember when anime was like this, oh, you like anime kind of thing? And now everyone, and I don't begrudge people for watching anime and enjoying anime. Like, I'm here for it. I want people to watch and like anime. But now, like, everybody and their brother does watch it, but only, like, this really small subset of mainstream stuff, and then they get cringe with it, and I'm like, oh my God, you're never gonna make it past that, like, cringy weeb stage. You're never gonna make it past there, are you? Oh God, you're always gonna be in the dumpster fire stage. You were one of the kids that got made fun of for it. Same. I was a kid in middle school and high school that really liked anime, and people were like, you like that crazy Japanese stuff. And I was like, yeah, I do actually. Thanks. Now go away. Yup. Those good old days. Do I want to protect my skin? You know, it's probably not a bad idea. They only know Naruto and One Piece and Bleach and Death Note. If they're old enough, they only watched Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Sailor Moon, and oh my God, there was one other. Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z, because that was what was on Toonami / Adult Swim. The other month, I got a message from one of the girls who bullied me about it, asking if I had watched, oh my Lord, My Hero Academia. I decided to be petty and send back, you watch anime? That's amazing, Heavy. Hi, crazy guy. I gotta grab my liquid latex. We're gonna paint our skin with liquid latex. Because it's the smart decision. So I get it from Maniology. It's called Polycuticle Protector. They have both this one, which is latex based, and they have one that is non-latex based. I no longer have my non-latex based one. It turned into a block and I threw it away. We discovered that 2 weeks ago that it had turned into a block because I was showing you guys, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting rid of this. You watch decent anime, not cringy bullshit. Oh my god. I tried at one point to watch Black Clover. I think it was. I've never tried My Hero Academia, and now it's got like hundreds of episodes, so I'm never going to, because I'm not going to make the commitment, right? I did try to watch Black Clover, and I could not handle the fact that the main character just fucking screams all the damn time. I was like, shut up, bro. I made it 3 episodes before I was like, no, fam, I'm out. I'm out. It's not worth it. Can't do it. I can't do it. And I know some people out there are just like, it's so funny, and I'm like, yeah, no, it drives me up a wall. It's on the skin, nice and thick, so that you can peel it off. And then it darkens as it dries. And I am going to go one nail at a time like I did 2 weeks ago, because then I don't stick them together. And it works out. It's all they do. Yeah. Yup. Called Parallel World Oh, I watched Parallel World Pharmacy. That one was really cute. That one was cute. The amount of secondhand embarrassment I would feel from shows was insane. Same, Hemi. Same. I get that. Parallel World Pharmacy is really cute and does have action as well, but thankfully the main character does not... the main character does not scream in Parallel World Pharmacy. Got to a point where it was like, y'all could have wrapped this up this whole shit, like in one season. Yeah. Yep, My Hero Academia. Yep. That was actually... So, when I was growing up, because your choices were literally you stay up and sneak watching Adult Swim at my age, or you watch it on Toonami, which inevitably neither one of them ever aired it from episode 1 to episode end. It was always all over the place because they were getting seasons in from Japan. They had to translate them and dub them because we only watched dubbed anime back in the day. There was no subtitles on the TV. No, you watched it dubbed. It was put into English. And, like, your choices were very limited. So, Inuyasha was really... Like, Pokemon was technically my first, but I didn't realize that Pokemon was an anime. So, my first anime, I always say, is Inuyasha, because it was the first one I recognized as anime. I've never seen the ending of it, because holy shitballs, just like Naruto and similar long animes, it just starts circling. Like... You do the same things over and over and over and over again in the plot, and you get like one little morsel addition to the character or whatever's going on in their life, and I'm just like, I cannot. I think I made it to episode... Oh my god, where did I make it in Inuyasha? I've seen up to... I want to say where he gets the red sword. The red fang. It like turns red or whatever. I think I've made it around there, and I was just like, I cannot anymore. I just can't. You like Inuyasha? And I loved Inuyasha growing up. I really did. Favorite YouTubers and voice actors has made a series called So This Is basically where he would take a series and sum it up, and it's one on Monster Hunter again, or My Hero. I always want to say Monster Hunter because MHW is where I learned that acronym first. My Hero Academia is hilarious. I believe it. You have the complete season series and not in all four. Oh my lord. You must have an entire shelf dedicated to Inuyasha, Carrie. One Piece has over 1,000 episodes. There's no reason any... No! Absolutely not, Hemlock. And it's so long. One Piece is so long, I've heard, that they're actually re-releasing it so that people who weren't there in the beginning don't have to feel overwhelmed by 1,000 episodes that they have to catch up on. They're like remaking it, which is absurd. It's part of your series section. That makes sense, Carrie. Half the time the video is just him making fun of the shitty plot. That makes so much sense, though. Okay, before I get my nails wet again, I need to pull out the tweezers because we're going to require those for the liquid latex. Okay, now we can actually do the nail stamp. Now we can actually do the nail stamp because we've protected the skin, so I don't have to worry about... I just have to make sure that this stuff is all where I want it to be for grabbing purposes. Because nail stamping is time sensitive. You get it into the plate and then you need to get it onto your nail in short order. No moving air, so no fans on above, no air conditioning directly in the window next to you. If you used forced air of any kind, be it air conditioning or heat, make sure it's not blowing on you. Like, very important. And these are gentle motions. And I'm gonna go in this direction. Bloop. I still got it on my skin, but not as badly as I otherwise could have. I need tape. Like just regular Scotch tape, because that's how you clean your stamper head. Do not put acetone on it. You will ruin your stamper. I repeat, do not put acetone on your stamper head. You will ruin your stamper. Half the video. Okay, I've read that one. That's all it takes. Little piece of tape. Lift the polish back up off the sticky stamper head. No hate for Sailor Moon Crystal, but it's not the same as the original. It's a little too serious for your liking. That's fair. That's absolutely fair, crazy guy. Escaflowne. Oh my god, I think I started the Escaflowne series and then I stopped the Escaflowne series because it got too, like, darkish. And I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't my kind of dark. Because we all have that thing, right? I've watched the entirety of Black Lagoon. Like, I've watched a dark anime. You want dark, Black Lagoon is up there. Not for the faint of heart. Do not recommend to the general public. But, like, we all have the kind of dark that we can handle. And Black Lagoon happened to be right on the border of what I could handle, but I could. But Escaflowne is fucked. Movie a much darker take on the story, but also more compact. Yeah, Parallel World Pharmacy was cute and had really limited fan. It did. Have it in VHS. Yes, good old VHS days. The good old VHS days. Just cleaning up. And because we have a limited amount near or on the skin, I'm not gonna like stain my cuticles as I otherwise might have. And it's going to look a little weird right now because the bats are matte and the rest of it's glossy. But once I put a top coat on, everything will be glossy and it will look correct. But you can see how if it gets into the darker areas, they start to disappear. So the goal is to pick a polish that matches the dark part of the magnetic, basically. And since I'm using a magnetic top coat, I picked a polish that, roughly speaking, I can show you, matches in tonality. So they're very similar. And I apologize because I keep fucking hitting the light and making it wiggle. I'm trying very hard not to, but I have terrible proprioception, which is the ability to know where my limbs are in space makes it difficult for me. Insane amount of fan service in mainstream. Oh my god, that are children. Yes. That part. It really makes you wonder about these animation studios. Oh, Jesus. Animation studios in Japan. I hadn't quite completely covered my acetone container, and some drops made it to the floor. Ye old pineapple for the ability to not touch acetone to my nails, because we have to clean the plate back out. It's gonna get smeary again. I'm sure you guys can read, but it's Maniology plate M398. I almost said 389 because, you know, minor dyslexia here. And I'm going to move it out of the way for a moment and just let this sit, because we have ads starting soon and I don't want to continue working since I don't have to while the ads are going. I didn't know you could clean a VCR, Hemi. So the answer is no, I've never cleaned the heads of my VCR. You got it upgraded to DVD/Blu-ray, Carrie? Nice. All about the waifu plot devices, but when it gets to the 12-year-old characters in that situation, you gotta draw a line. Give me Rory Mercury! Yes! Yes! Rory Mercury is the best! Seamus. Can't remember what anime it was, but there was one where there was a 10-year-old that was oh my god, yeah. The young kids doing fan service drives me batty. And it drives me batty too when they try to make it a, like, quote-unquote medieval story. So that makes it somehow okay. And I'm like, all right, like, I get that you want a medieval story, but if the entire reason for the medieval story is so that you can have children as concubines, we've got a problem. I actually like that. Oh god, Apothecary Diaries takes a moment to kind of address this indirectly, because obviously young concubines were a thing in historical China, and they actually acknowledge that some of the concubines in the story are young, but they go out of their way to say that the emperor, while he visits them, will not touch them like his predecessor, and that people knew what the predecessor was doing was wrong. Like, it is such a breath of fresh air. My dad he had a special kit to clean VHS. He always told us to let him know if it looks like a VHS is starting to get dirty, but we've had put a bunch of VHSs into a storage container and still shot. I think my dad might still have the kits somewhere, but it's probably in the... Oh my gosh, crazy guy. That's wild. I never knew about that. I never knew. You didn't know either. You didn't learn you were supposed to clean them until like 2 years ago, and you never had any problems with yours. Yeah. I've never had any problem with mine either. Thankfully. I haven't watched any in a long time, but yeah. Yeah, if you didn't clean it properly, what could happen is it could degrade the film over time. Oh, interesting. The only issue I ever had with my VHS player, and it's the same one I had with my cassette player, was it eating the tape. Do you remember that? Where you'd be watching and then all of a sudden it just like sucked the tape out of the cassette player, and that was it. It was ruined. You would never get it back. That was always tragic. That was always super tragic. Also, I am just low-key giggling, by the way, about how often these days we are getting on Nostalgia Central when we chat. It literally, we just go right down memory lane. Okay, if I needed it up to the first knuckle with the thumb, I definitely need it up to the first knuckle with an even smaller finger. Better too much than too little. Liquid latex is actually very inexpensive, so... There. That's what can happen while the ad runs, because it's going to start in about 30 seconds, is, the liquid latex can be allowed to dry. You hated that shit, right? It was terrible. It was terrible. And I remember once it happened to my aunt or my uncle where they were watching like a home video from a birthday party or something, and it sucked that tape out, and it's gone. It's gone. I was bought like 4 copies of my favorite movies so that when that inevitably happened, I would have a backup. Exactly. You needed it. You had to have a backup because, yeah, if it ruined the tape, that was it. That was it. And God forbid it was one of those like scandalous Disney ones where they had hid the penises or the word sex or something in it. Or one of the ones where you had the, they had like changed it. So it's one of the rare editions. Woo! Woo! And then we went away from VHS and we got DVDs, right? And we all thought that DVDs were going to be the shit. They were going to be perfect because now you didn't have to worry about it sucking the tape in and fucking screwing you over. And what happened with DVDs? They got scratched. They got scratched. And then it either couldn't play or it would skip. Like you would hit that one part in it and it just wouldn't go any further. You couldn't watch the rest of the movie. Oh my God. And that was almost more frustrating than the VHS problem because DVDs were twice as expensive. Nothing a bit of toothpaste won't fix, Crispy. I remember that. I did try that at one point. It did work. The hidden penis, we really did think that. We really did. And from DVDs, we were like, okay, well, this is better-ish because you didn't have to rewind a DVD. You didn't have to rewind a DVD. It just, boop, back to the main menu. But you also couldn't leave a DVD at a specific spot and walk away because it would time out and put you back to the main menu and you could only go to a playhead. You couldn't go to a specific spot. Like it was almost impossible to fast forward them until the technology came around. I remember that. But from there, we moved to like on demand. I had protective case for every CD. Rule in my house was that if you don't put it back in the case, you don't get to play it anymore because you couldn't be trusted with it. Yes, Hemi. Yes. We moved from DVDs to on-demand streaming service type things. Like, I remember buying movies and stuff on Amazon Prime and entire seasons of shows. And I was like, awesome. I no longer need a DVD collection because I can just watch it at any time. I purchased it. It's in my video library and it's fine. And now licensing is a thing. And even if you bought it, if Amazon Prime, for example, loses the license to it, you lose access to this thing that you fucking purchased. They all have the drawbacks. There's no perfect system. None. If anything teaches you impermanence, it's literally trying to watch movies. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Fair, Crispy. Fair. That's true. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Cause, yeah, like, I don't know. I should check. I know I bought Leverage, the first 4 seasons, but not the 5th on Amazon Prime. I should see if they still exist, but I know Seamus at one point was buying Doctor Who on Amazon Prime so that he could watch it when he wanted, and I was watching it with him at one point. And I'm pretty sure he went back into his video library and most of it doesn't exist because the licensing expired. Which is frustrating. It's so frustrating. Okay, bye, Smeagol. Licensing is a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass. Stupid companies. Welcome back from the ads, friends. We've got liquid latex ready on finger number 2, and we were talking about licensing videos on demand that you lose access to. Right? Right? If buying isn't owning, then stealing isn't piracy. Or piracy isn't stealing. I said it backwards. I agree. We get that purple in there. With stamp nail numero dos. Put that off to the side. Grab my scraper.
Shoop. By the way, I just have to say a silicone mat is a great investment if you like to do your nails, because then you don't have to worry about getting... Somebody's got the zoomies. You don't have to worry about getting mess on your surfaces, because the silicone mat is impervious. Slide this for a minute so we can have the satisfaction of peeling. This is the best part, honestly. Peel it off. There it goes. Release. Oh, you're gonna be a stickler down in my cuticle edges, are you? My nail bed edges. Get out of there. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, motherfucker. There we go. I still have some around the top edge. Ugh. I can see it. I just have to change my angle so that I can see enough to get at it. There we go. Carefully without and there's a little bit there without disturbing the nail polish. Ooh, that's not comfy on my thumb. Let's try from this angle. There we go. Got it. Mika, why are you all puffed up? Why are you puffing up, baby boy? Are you in a schmood? Yeah. Could you guys see this? You're all puffy. You're all puffed up. Are you full of beans? Yeah. What? Oh yeah, you're full of beans. Oh yeah, you're full of beans. You're so lost as to what's happening right now with my fingernails, Crispy. I'm doing what one viewer calls witchcraft. But also, Smeagol is full of beans and just racing around the apartment, and he's got crazy eyes on right now. He's got the crazy cat eyes where you know if you get your hand near him, you're gonna lose a finger. Just using the acetone to take care of any little flyaways from where we peeled it off. And now we can clean the stamping plate again. Thankfully, the purple doesn't smear like the friggin' black does. He does have a need for speed. Or you guys want to blast from the past? We still have a blockbuster Harry Potter that you forgot to return, Crispy. That's Crispy, Crazy Guy. That's probably worth like a lot of money. Ugh. My chair is sliding back on the slight incline of the floor. Or decline, I guess. It's a house from 1920, the building. The floors have settled in weird ways. More latex. I gotta clean off the stem of this brush again. It is gunked. Oops, Seamus is gonna have hot cocoa. I hear the water. When I'm done with my nails, I can have some. Because unfortunately, like, hot cocoa makes me have to pee a whole fucking heckin' lot. And, obviously, with wet nails, that is not desirable. Not desirable at all. There we go. Single-handedly bankrupt Blockbuster $7,000 return fee. I wouldn't think it would be worth a lot of money, but that is interesting. I know that there's still one Blockbuster around. It's in, like, Indiana or something. I wonder how much it would cost. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it would cost a lot probably because the overdue fees would be insane. Insane. I miss video rentals, you guys. I really do. Because I remember when, like, and it wasn't just Blockbusters. We had one called Jen's Corner Video near where I used to live. Because it was rural. And it wasn't just videos you could rent video games. For the NES and the SNES and the Sega Genesis. Like, it was the fucking best. It was the literal try before you buy. I don't know if I'm gonna like this game, but I can rent it from my video rental store and see. So for like, I want to say it was like maybe $5 a day you could rent it, have it back in 3 days or whatever, play it, give it a try, and you were good to go. And then you could go spend like $30 or $40 on it if you really liked it. Or, you know, if you got your money's worth out of renting it and you beat the game or some shit, you didn't have to buy it for full price. You just had to hope that whoever had it before you didn't fucking wreck it. Renting Xbox games and ripping them to your modded console. Oh my god, Crispy. That was always fun to do, Carrie, right? Renting Mario Kart. Oh my god, did they really still have rentals at that point? Did they have it into the N64 era? The Memberries, right? Friend and I rented Donkey Kong Country 3 and beat it. Yes. Yes. Yup. Renting video games was perfect for us too because, like, my parents could afford $15 for the weekend, but they couldn't necessarily afford to get us every game that we ever wanted to play. Like, they were two young parents raising, at that point, two small girls. My brother is almost 6 years behind me, so there was a little bit of a difference in things by the time my brother came around, but once he was there, now they're raising 3 small children. And kids are fucking expensive. I don't know if you guys have looked into how much it costs to raise a kid, but holy shit. Oh, it was in 2011. You're right. You're right. It feels like they've been out of business for so much longer, but I also still struggle to remember that the 90s were 30 years ago. Let that sink in. 30 years. It'll be 40 years in 5 more years, less than 5 years. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with the fact that if they look at your ID and they see a... Shut the fuck up, Seamus. I'm not okay with if they look at your ID and they see a 1 for the beginning of your birth year, they don't even have to look at the rest of the date. Like, disgusting. Terrible. Where's time gone? I didn't approve getting this old. I didn't approve needing to pay bills either, but here I am. Like, I remember growing up and thinking being an adult would be so cool because I could do whatever I wanted and would have no bedtime. And then I became an adult and realized that adults have to pay bills, and I was like, this is bullshit. I just didn't want a bedtime. And now I would like a bedtime again, please. Like, somebody give me a bedtime and make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do because I don't want this responsibility anymore. I'm over it. I'm fucking over it. I've had enough. It's terrible. Oops. One of the bats didn't come out quite right. That's okay. We'll live. Now my bedtime is earlier than when you were a kid. Oh my god, Crispy, you go to bed so early. I'm impressed. I need to be more disciplined like you, but then it would be much harder to play games with you. Since, you know, you're across the ocean on me. That's what weekends are for, though. Weekends make it easier to connect with your out of time zone friends. You're older on Wednesday. Oh my goodness, Carrie. Yeah. Happy early birthday.
I think one of my favorite things from the 90s was Soap Elements. Skip it. Yo Play, Trix, Yogurt. Trix are for kids. Capri Sun, Dinosaur Nuggies, and Mavis Beacon. I only know some of those things because I was not a pop culture kind of kid. I was a go run around in the woods kind of kid. Rural living, baby. I like to joke that the most entertainment you could have in my little small town life was going to tip cows. People did not, for the record, go and tip cows. We just joked about it because that was the one way we could get across to other people how small our small town life was. Like, literally, we were the meme of everybody knows everybody. Tying off the bag. Let's go! You're gonna open presents after work? That's so exciting, Carrie. That's so exciting. But God, I loved Yo Play yogurt and Trix yogurt. Oh my God. It was sickeningly sweet. It had so much unnatural food coloring in it. Do you remember when they came out with colored ketchup? Because red ketchup was for losers, so you had to get purple and green. And that shit, oh my God, it tasted so bad. It tasted so bad. Being early 2000s is lit. You grew up playing outside and before iPad kids, but you learned tech literacy in late high. Yeah, you did. You did, Crispy. 100%. Oh my God, technology expanded so fast between like 1980 to 2010. Like, just vast differences. Yogurt bites and oh my God, the High C Ghostbuster drink. I remember that. I remember Tang. I remember the original Tang commercials talking about that it turned you into an orangutan or whatever. Like, seeing people drink it and then they got turned into like gorillas basically. And I was young and I was fucking terrified to ever drink it because I really was convinced after seeing those commercials, like little 6-year-old Sam Brain was absolutely convinced that if I drank Tang, I was going to turn into a gorilla or an orangutan or whatever the official term for those primates was. Like, convinced 100%. You couldn't tell me otherwise. And the day I went to my babysitter's and that's what she was preparing for snack time, I was like crying in her bathroom because I thought that she was going to turn us all into monkeys. Oh my God. It was so bad. Tang was originally marketed in the 70s as the astronaut's drink. Yeah. Yep. So I know you're from New York. I went to the Catskill Game Farm, crazy guy. Been there. Saw it, rode an elephant, which now I understand is very cruel to elephants, but back then it was like all the rage in the 90s. Yep, I went to the Catskill Game Farm. I remember when it shut down and they had to find new homes for all the animals. There's actually a zoo nearby me that took some of them in. Yep. And I've been to that zoo too. Now, like as a kid, I thought zoos were so cool. I loved going to see the animals and stuff. You people are killing me. You're being all nostalgic about the shit I had when I was raising a kid of my own. Listen, Seamus, not all of us can be as old as you. You're just like too old for the internet, okay, my dude? Love you, but... Yeah, I remember, like, I loved zoos as a kid. I thought they were so cool. I loved seeing the animals. Now I have mixed feelings about zoos. Because on the one hand, zoos inevitably are helping us preserve certain species where their habitat has either been destroyed or there just isn't enough of it for them to easily survive and whatnot. We've given them a place. But on the other hand, we are literally keeping animals in captivity and then letting people gawk at them. And I just, like, I have mixed feelings. I don't hate them, but I don't love them anymore.
When I say the jingle is scarred into your brain, my family would sometimes just randomly start singing it. I'm pretty sure that jingle is cursed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, crazy guy. Yeah, I believe it. Osaka Zoo is diabolical. Animals pacing around, gone stir crazy. Oh, that's terrible, Crispy. That's terrible. Those poor animals. Do you remember? I think it was recently when they were talking about letting some of the killer whales go from, I think it was SeaWorld because the enclosures were too small. Yeah, true, Carrie. There are good ones and then there are bad ones. That's true. That's true. As is true with, most life. Good and bad. The light and the dark. The Jedi and the Sith. Yeah. At this point, though, like, I don't know if I would want to go to a zoo. I don't know if I would want to. I don't know that it holds the same appeal as when I was a kid either. I was hearing something like that because some of the orcas started to get the curved fin, which is a sign of them bumping into their enclosure too many times. Oh, that would be a good indication. The local one is okay. They have limited space and do what they can, but they also know the limitations of what they can provide. See, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm pretty sure the one local to me does similar. I'm pretty sure. Again, I haven't been in so many years. And it's wild, too, for a zoo in the Northeast, or probably anywhere, really, but specifically in the Northeast because we do have winter and it snows. And most zoos are, like, exotic animals. They're not bringing in a ton of fucking penguins and polar bears to the Northeast in the wintertime. No. They have to find a place for the giraffes and the elephants and the monkeys and everything else to go where they can stay warm because they're fucking tropical animals and it's about to drop into not comfortable temperatures for them, if not deadly temperatures. Like, that's got to be a logistics nightmare of where do we put the animals for the winter? I've been to the Catskill when you were a kid. The Catskill Game Farm doesn't exist anymore, Seamus. It's gone. Certain zoos... I do love certain zoos, but most zoos cause the animal too much stress, causing the animal to get something called zoochosis, which is incredibly dangerous to the animal. Most of the time, the animal will pick out its skin and it will do circles. Sometimes they'll just lay down and die in its... Yeah. There are some zoos that go out of their way to make sure that they only carry certain animals that can survive and be okay in the enclosure. Yeah, absolutely, crazy guy. And that's important. It's a good thing you don't want to go back. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't hear about the closing of the Catskill Game Farm. It was big news for a little while. Like, a lot of people were very concerned about what happens to all the animals at the Catskill Game Farm. That was a big deal. It was a really big deal, understandably. Understandably. Because that's kind of important. What do you do with all of those animals? And scrape. And lift. And onto ye old fourth finger. Quick little roll. Slide this out of the way. Get to my tapey tape. Kind of sad that it went out of business, but at the same time you heard the rumors that they were not being nice to the animal. Oh, yeah, and that's not good. That's not good. Sanctuaries are often better places to seek out to visit our other than... You know, that's fair, Dova. I don't know... I don't know if we necessarily have... Do we have sanctuaries in the States, or do we only have zoos? There's a question. That I do not know. I feel like maybe the zoo near me also labels themselves as a sanctuary, now that you mention it. Although I guess the place you used to volunteer at was a horse sanctuary, wasn't it, Seamus? Technically. The horse sanctuary owned by a certifiable crazy person, I guess would be the best way to put it. She she went overboard with her need to quote unquote save the animals, save the horses as it were. And she would report people for things that weren't actually violations. She just would like literally stalk properties until she found the owner doing one thing that she could construe to cause them to get their animals taken away. It was fucking terrible. I remember one place she reported them for having water frozen over in the trough so the animals couldn't drink. But it literally was one morning where it was sub-zero, so clearly frozen. And it was really early morning. Animals had heated water inside, but the outside trough was frozen. And so she reported them. And they actually did lose like their farm animals and have to fight to get them back. And it was one morning at like 5 a.m. It was ridiculous. Farm Sanctuary has 2 locations for sure. You think one in New York. Okay. Best Friends in Utah does amazing work. Good to know. Closest zoo is actually a giant aquarium. It's called, yep, I've heard of Mystic. And they're not bad when it comes to the treatment of their animals. But I do know that they do rehabilitation for certain okay. Rehabilitation is good. Rehabilitation is fantastic. -40. That was yeah. She does have a few screws loose. Yep. I remember that. And that was when people went from being like, oh my gosh, we should totally support this. She's doing a great thing to get animals out of abusive situations into we may actually have some animals that legitimately don't belong here because she effectively stole them by lying. Yeah, she was something else. I don't know if that place still exists. I honestly, like, as much as I want a sanctuary for actual abused animals to go and have space and whatnot, I hope it doesn't exist because she's crazy. Place here in a mall that recently got busted for animal cruelty. Bless the people that reported them. Yeah, and like definitely don't want animal cruelty. Definitely do not want it. But this particular woman was literally fabricating things. It was wild and terrible because legitimate farm owners were like having to fight to get their animals back. People who have not harmed a single hair on their animals' heads. Loved them more than anything, named them all, so on and so forth. And she was just like, the water was frozen. They hadn't woken up yet. It was ridiculous. Yeah, they're zealots. That's the best word for it. Yep. It just takes all kinds. It takes all kinds, right? And all I can hope for her, as far as she goes, is that she learned from her actions and she does better now. That's the best I can hope for, because I don't want to condemn anybody to a permanent state of that kind of zealotry. Like, I would hope that they would learn and move forward and do better, but I also recognize the fact that that is not always the case in humanity. Dova has been down the road of zealotry many times, thinking she was just so right, and I literally do no good for any of the things I claim to care about. Yeah. I don't think any of us have escaped that path, Dova. I think we've all had at least one instance where we were like, I am helping so much by doing this thing, and then you learn that, in fact, you're not. And sometimes the lesson comes later in life, has learned to do better. Absolutely. Absolutely, Dova. Sometimes the lesson comes later in life because we all think we're doing something good for whatever reason, and then we learn just as like a whole that no, actually, this is not better. The underlying issue with her was that was her personal property and her pet project. She made it a nonprofit and used the fundraising to pay for her huge property. She secondarily had space and staff for like 40 animals, but she couldn't stop taking in new ones. We were way over our limit by the time we quit her. Yeah, I remember her being over the limit. She was basically doing the things that she was condemning other people for doing. Yep. Like, for example, on us learning and doing better, I know, obviously, I was either very young when the change came about or I wasn't quite born yet. 75 horses in a 40 horse space is not good. Plastic bags. When they first brought plastic bags out, it was thought that by using plastic bags, which was a byproduct of the creation of gasoline, if I remember right, that we were going to be helping save the planet because we were going to chop down less trees to make paper bags. Plastic was going to revolutionize things. And we now know that plastic doesn't biodegrade properly, and we're actually doing more harm than good with an excess amount of plastic. That being said, I still miss plastic bags because they had handles. Like, can't we just have handles on our paper bags, please? Cloth bags, though, are really nice. But yeah, save the trees. Save the trees. And it didn't work out that way. So now we've got to figure it out and do better. And that came from a place of good, and then we learned. You don't know what you don't know. That is one of my favorite sayings. You don't know what you don't know. And we've got paper bags again. We too, Crispy. Although they are pushing harder for reusable bags. I will say that. I do see a bigger push for reusables. Because at least in New York, we're gonna get a little bit ranty here. Just a forewarning. I'm about to rant a little bit. In New York, depending on what county you are in, because states are broken up into counties for anybody who is not native to the states and doesn't know that, it changes the tax rate and it changes the tax code a little bit. The overall tax code of New York State for upstate New York and not New York City, because they have different tax codes, states that the county gets to decide whether or not they're going to charge sales tax on paper bags. Now, if the county says that yes, sales tax will be charged and whatnot, then you are required by law to sell the paper bags. You can't just say, oh, here, let me put that in a bag for you. And so every bag costs 5 cents. If you're in a county that's like, no, that's kind of silly, you can just give them away, then they don't have to do that. Which becomes a problem if you are somebody like me who goes to craft fairs to sell and use paper bags to put things in if people ask for it. Because now I have to, in theory, know the tax code from county to county to know if I have to charge for my paper bags or not. And then if I do charge for them, whether or not I have to put sales tax on it. Like, it's such a fucking wild racket. Because they don't want you to actually use the paper bags. They do want you to use reusable bags. My general go-to, not gonna lie, is for the most part, people do not need a bag. So I don't have to worry about it. But for the ones who do, I just give it to them. I don't care what the county says. I'm literally selling at a craft fair, and yes, I could get fined for this. Yes, it could be a problem, but I do pay sales tax otherwise, or submit for it. Like, I have to charge. So I have a sales tax authority. I am doing the right thing in all other aspects. I just cannot get behind the idea of charging somebody for a paper bag, and it's 5 cents for a bag, and then paying, also having, like, if they need 20 of them, now they have to pay an extra 7 cents or 8 cents for sales tax on the paper bag. Like, it's so stupid, but that's how they're trying to incentivize people to use reusable bags, is that,
oh, well, if you get a paper bag in some places, you're going to be charged for it. And they don't have fucking handles. Plastic is an amazing thing for products like medical equipment, food storage, etc. But yeah, time to do better now that we know better. Yep, exactly, Dova. Now we cut down tens of thousands of acres of forest to put up... There's that. The solar farms are also terrible. Solar power, great idea. Solar farms with where they choose to put the solar farms, not a great idea. I love the idea of making solar farms like a roof for parking lots because we've already dedicated that space to not having nature. And it's usually wide open in the sun. Sounds good to me. I feel like we get taxed for everything. Income, GST, petrol, capital gains. Let's start. Oh my god. We really do, Crispy. We really do. Like, there are only two things they say that are assured in life. Death and taxes. They're not wrong. You will die someday and you will pay tax. I really didn't cover it that time. I gotta be more careful with this. I keep thinking I've got the whole opening covered, and I don't. Well, it's a good thing acetone dries quickly. That's why I don't tip it over my desk. I don't know why grocery stores don't all have small gardens on their roofs with on-site composting. Easy wins. It would be nice, but then you have to pay somebody to take care of those gardens, and they don't want to do that, and you have to have knowledge. The composting, though, would be really cool. Composting doesn't take a lot of knowledge. Gardening can. Gardening can. I will admit that, because there are some weird nuances. Can't even die in New Zealand without getting... Oh my god, right? Right? You died? That'll be $50 in death tax. I think we have funerary taxes in the States, too. But it's the people who are hosting the funeral that have to pay them, not the dead person. Although it can come out of their estate. At least once I'm dead, though, I don't care about the taxes anymore. Because, I'm dead. Terrible to put it that way, but it's fucking true. It's so true. It's also sad, you guys. Speaking of gardens, Seamus and I... We always, like, wanted a garden, but we are terrible at keeping a garden, so we are actually tearing our raised beds out. And by we, I mean him. He's doing a good job of it. I appreciate it. Because we wanted to, like, grow our own veggies and stuff, but what we've noticed is that, sure, we'll grow them, and then what? You know? And it's also a case of we literally have the postage stamp size yard. We do not have the kind of roof or porch space where we can grow in those zones. We literally have our postage stamp size yard. That's where we could grow. And it doesn't get enough sun. We are at the perfect kind of a lot that it's partial sun. And a garden really needs, like, full sun, nice warm soil, and things like that. So it never works out very well for the kind of vegetables that we would want to grow. And we had to finally make the decision that rather than continuing to grow weeds, like really tall weeds in our yard, the garden had to come out. It's sad. It's the end of an era. But when we ideally end up with my dad's house, because I would like to purchase it from him, when my brother and sister-in-law are ready to move out and everything, because as far as I'm aware, they would like to purchase their own house, we can then have a garden there because there's plenty of good sunny spots. And then we'll, you know, not have neighbors that are annoying us by talking to us when we don't want to be spoken to because we're literally just out there to weed the damn garden. it'll be easier. It'll be way easier. I don't know if you guys have picked up on the trend, but I don't, like, if I'm going outside to do something, I don't want to be spoken to by my neighbors. Like, I literally, if I want to interact with people, I will make myself available to interact with people. I need to let this hand rest a little bit. Do this. You got it, Dova. I knew America was like that. People telling you their life story just because they really do, Crispy. They really do. It's obnoxious. I just want to be left alone. I just want to be left alone. Now, a lot of people will leave you alone. We just happen to live in an area where we have nosy neighbors. And I've literally been outside before with headbuds in, like earbuds, and my hair pulled back so you can see that I have earbuds in, and people will come over and just talk louder and louder and louder until I fucking answer them. I want that so bad. New Zealand people just keep to themselves. Come to America, Crispy. Ugh. Thank you for the posture check, Gary. Ugh. It's so hard to adjust my posture sitting to do nail art. It really is. Got another fucking fuzz stuck to my fingers. Yeah, I don't want to talk to people unless I want to talk to people, and people just inherently want to talk to you, and I'm like, please stop. Please stop. I can't stop looking at the magnetized effect, you guys. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. I love it. Oh, excuse me. So much. I took a big gulp of really cold water, and now I've got the, like, I gotta release the air that I sucked in through the straw, I guess. Behavior like that is literally makes you realize why people snap. Right, Dova? Like, I don't want to talk to you. I have not invited you into my space. I'm clearly not answering you because I have earbuds in. Go away. You would lose your shit. I lost my shit in so much that I have secluded myself in the apartment, and I don't even like going for walks. On the off chance, there's 2 reasons I don't like going for walks in our neighborhood. 3. There's 3 reasons. 1, I don't want people who are sitting outside to talk to me. 2, people sit outside to smoke, and I don't care if it's cigarettes or pot. I don't want to smell it. Rukia, hi! So I don't like being spoken to. I don't like having to smell whatever somebody's fucking smoking. And reason number 3 is that the city that we live in does not take care of the sidewalks. So they put them in, and then they were like, yeah, it's the building owner's responsibility. And we're like, but we don't own that land. Like, literally, you say we don't own that land, but you want us to maintain the sidewalks. But we pay you taxes to maintain this kind of stuff. So, yeah, like the sidewalks, when they get really shitty, people just rip them out and let it go back to grass, and the city doesn't do anything about it. So, it's just not a nice place to walk. And I'm too lazy to drive somewhere where I can walk more freely. Right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting, Rukia. Why the purple layer first and then the red? Okay, so the reason why is because the purple layer is the base color. So this is the color that we're working with. And this is actually a top coat that is magnetized. It doesn't have, like, it has a golden hue to it, but it by itself changes color depending on the nail that you put it on, like the color you put it over. We have a moment. Let me pull up an image on the ye old Instagram rather than the nail inspo to show you, because we worked with this once before where you can really see it, hopefully. Yeah, this will let you see it. I did this for Pride this year. So this all of these nails, every single one of them has that same top coat on it, but because it's different colors, the top coat looks differently, but they are all magnetized. You're having the same issue there, Rukia? Oh, that sucks. That sucks. So that's why you put the purple on first, because the top coat by itself doesn't do anything. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. So first the color, then the magnetized part. You need a pep talk, you want to do your nails, but you're being lazy and ass kicking, please. Rukia, you wouldn't go outside naked, would you? Put some clothes on your nails. Paint those bitches. They need to feel beautiful. They gotta feel lovely. And you're so good at it. You're so good at nail art. How dare you deny them being fancy as fuck? Excellent. And then you have to send me pictures of it, because I want to see what art you create. Because you're fucking phenomenal at it. Where'd my stamper go? There it is. Pick it up. Stamp it on. Voila. You did a pretty green. Ooh. I do love a really good green polish. Green, like green as a polish color is fucking underrated. It's underrated. Green with a black graveyard. Yes. Yes, Rukia. That would be so cool. Holo Taco released a neon green that they call So Toxic recently. That would look great with a black graveyard. I'm just saying, like, go find the brightest, most obnoxious fucking slime green. Because that would be great. Goodbye, mess. Goodbye. Come on, release from my skin. Thank you. Go into the pile of peels. Latex peels. Yeah, the So Toxic is the second favorite color from this collection that came out. This is the first favorite. The purple Crelly that is the base of this manicure. Looks at her naked bitches and sees her. You're fine, Nova. You're fine. It's different for Rukia. Rukia actually works as a nail tech, so, like, she can't take her naked nails to work. That's not how this goes. You're a sucker. Oh my god, I'm a sucker for purple too, Rukia. Makeup and nails, but you cannot put it on your body. It's a sensory thing, which is fair. Because I understand that, Dova, because there have literally been times that I do my nails up beautifully. And this was almost the case last week. I had so many layers on. I can feel the layers. And then I immediately need them to come off. There was once I had such a bad anxiety attack about having that, like, heaviness on my nails. And it was just 2 coats of polish, basically. I had just painted a color. So 4 coats total. Base coat, 2 coats to get the color, and then a thin top coat. And I was out and about. I couldn't take it off, and I just, like, I couldn't handle it anymore, and I picked all of the polish off of my nails. Just picked it off. It's just so bad for your nails. It's so bad. So I get it. I get the sensory issue thing. Totally respect that. And it's why sometimes I go into nail hiatus, because if my anxiety is too high and that happens to be how it's presenting, there's no point in taking the time to paint my nails. I'm going to rip it off. It's also part of why I don't do gel nails. I made a mistake to get a nail pierced when I was, oh no. Oh my god, that trend. I don't understand that trend. Like,
I guess with fake nails, it makes more sense because they're fake, right? You can just take them off and then you don't have a giant hole in your nail. But the people who were doing it to their natural nails, I just cried a little because I was like, are you always going to put like jewelry in it? And then now you've got this shit dangling off of your nails. How are you going to literally do anything? You can't tell me that thing's being kept clean. But I also personally feel like people who keep their nails like this freaking long, like they're just those giant claws that they, and of course they always talk like this and they clap them together, which I just want to snap them off. It drives me crazy. People who have their nails that long, they say that they don't end up scraping like fecal matter and shit into them, literal shit, when they wipe themselves, but there's no way. There's no way those are hygienic. Me neither. I was on training on gel nails and she was like, oh honey, I'm gonna teach you how to do it here. I went to get the bus and was like, no, you are out of yeah exactly, Rukia. I wanted to pierce the webbing between my thumb and index finger once, but no, I realized how bad that would hurt getting. Yeah, it would, Dova. Yeah, it would. Especially because this webbing here, this, oop, let me get it in frame here. This webbing, there's a muscle in there. Like, the only part that really doesn't have muscle is this little bitty tiny part. Maybe doesn't have muscle. But there's muscle in here. So if you pierce the webbing, you are piercing your muscle. That is the equivalent of getting your tongue pierced. Oh, no, cannot imagine. No, thank you. No. No. Definitely do not want that. Do not want that. No freaking thank you. I'm glad that you ultimately did not do that, Tova. But yeah, I don't like nail jewelry. The piercings. And I think those have, for the most part, gone out of fashion. But I also really don't like 3D on nails. I don't like looking at it. I don't want it. Like, and it's nothing against the people who like it, right? For me, personally, it just makes me uncomfortable. Like, just thinking about it, I get like the creepy crawlies on my skin. It's just like, ugh, I don't, no, thank you. I don't understand. I don't understand why you would like to put a literal fishbowl or something on your nail. Just, ugh. And people do like textured nails. No, thank you. I want them as smooth and untextured as possible. But I'm also somebody who, if I have anything raised up on my nails or a texture or whatever, I'm going to pick at it until it's gone. One of the reasons piercing and you are not friends. How do you feel about the aquarium nails? The ones where they literally build it out and then they fill it with like liquid and put fishes and stuff in them? No. They creep me out. I don't like them. Like, all I can think of, Rukia, is what a fucking mess that would be if you either A, broke one, or B, when you have to remove them, or C, if they don't get cured all the way or something and they open up. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan. And I'm also, oh my god, like, I can handle gross shit, but these people that are making their nail art realistic to look like there's fucking teeth coming out of the ends of their fingers need to stop. They need to stop. It's not okay. So aquarium nails is where it's where they use builder gel to make a base. And then on top of this builder gel, they basically make a cavity that they can fill in with water and other shit that floats, so that you literally have floaty nail globe, like snow globe like nails. It's an impressive technique. I'll give them that, but no thank you. No thank you. I'll see if I can't find a video of it, because they are, like, I will admit, they are impressive, but they're just so fucking creepy. Not live fishes, no.
No, thankfully not live fishes, although I am certain somebody out there has probably put sea monkeys in their nails now that you've mentioned it, because people are weird and gross and terrible sometimes. Then you fill it with beads or anything really. Yeah, you put water inside it. It's like 2 nail tips glued together so it can create an air pocket. Exactly. Exactly. That is a much better way to describe it. Rukia is actually a nail tech, so she's going to have better terminology than my poor hobbyist brain. Only be a couple of days before algae and shit start. Very possible, Seamus. I did not catch the live scorpions trend, Rukia. Please elaborate so I can be horrified. Because that sounds fucking terrible. Peely, 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 peel. Come on, get it all. There we go. Excellent. Those last little straggler bits I'm always worried about. It was horrible. Hi, Gothic Fairy Queen. Welcome in. How are you? People with more money than brains and too much exposure to TikTok. That sounds about right, Seamus. Was on Argentina or something. They would encapsulate live small scorpions on... Oh my god. No, stop. Hi, I'm going to encapsulate a poisonous creature on my nails. Not to talk about the animal abuse that's going on, but like, I could get poisoned and die or really sick, and so could my nail tech. That's fucked up. Woke up earlier, put your stream on your TV, and then promptly fell back asleep. Don't you have work today? Poor animals, it burns you up. Yeah, for real, Dova, for real. Oh, it's public holiday. Nice. Nice. Public holidays are always nice. When you actually get them off. Obviously, there are professions that do not. Yeah, no, that scorpion thing, that's fucked up. People are fucked up. We're gonna get this liquid latex on because ads are coming. And then we're just gonna sit through the ads waiting for it to dry. Because that's how this works. Where did the ads start? 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I will run them as soon as I get this on so that that's what we're doing for the ad. I will manually press that damn button. Yeah, get on there. Get on there, liquid latex. Protect me. You get all the holidays off. No, don't snooze it. I'm gonna run them. I'm gonna run them right now. So that nobody misses anything. Except for liquid latex literally drying on my hand. Like I'm panic fainting. It's Halloween. You gotta have Halloween music, you know? The aquarium nails, Rukia, is what I'm guessing. Oh, I'm gonna have to pee soon. I've drank so much water. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Well, at least my nails will be dry enough for me to go pee. There's at least that. I can change cotton balls too for cleaning purposes while I wait for this latex to dry. Put it on Discord on nail art. The nail art channel would be perfect. It should be under I'll tag you in it. I'll tag you in it in case it's not showing up for you. Rukia. Oh, I have 2 Rukias. Well, we'll just tag both of them. Oh, you found it. I didn't have to tag you after all. You found it. Yep, those are aquarium nails. Those are absolutely aquarium nails. I live in the do not disturb state, Dova, so I totally get that. Exactly, Gothic Fairy. Yeah, that's all liquid in there, Seamus. It's horrifying, isn't it? That's what he just posted. That's horrifying. Yeah. Can you imagine the weight of that on your hands, too? Like, no. Just no. The monstrosity of the scorpion is fucking terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. I had not known about that until now, and sometimes the shit that people come up with is just, it's next level stupid. That's the only way I can put it. It's next level stupid. Why? What was the appeal of that? That's what I really want to know. Hey guys, look at my hands. Isn't it great? Yeah, it's a real scorpion. Oh, it stung me. Not that it could anymore because it's probably dead, but like, Jesus. Welcome back from the ads, friends. We're still ranting about people putting live scorpions on their nails because they're atrocious human beings. The girls at the VA who scheduled your appointment last week had nails like 2.5 inches long. Like, that too, Seamus. I don't understand it. Why would you want nails that long? I want my nails to be longer. I can't have them because I'm a massage therapist, but I want them to be longer, but not that long. Totally murdered it on a Yeah. Yup. I totally murdered it on a UV lamp, roasting it with gel. Yeah, because doesn't gel burn as it cures? Isn't that like a thing that people experience if the gel is close to their skin, like a burning sensation? Which, again, I don't understand. Like, I get the appeal of gel, right? It's gonna last a lot longer. It's more impervious to things. But I don't understand the appeal of having it that far back that you're actually gonna burn yourself. Which I think technically means it's a chemical burn. Yeah, burns like a motherfucker? Yeah, no, I'll pass, thanks. I'm probably capable of withstanding the sensation, but why would I want to? Like, what is the appeal? I don't get it. And I'm trying to curate my nail Instagram to give me, like, less gel manicurists and more normal like regular nail lacquer manicurists, because all the nail artists out there, for the most part, it feels like these days, are gel manicurists because it's so nice. And I get it. I get the appeal of it for the nail art perspective, to be able to do the art and then cure it and it's set and good to go and you don't have to worry about it. But like, I don't work with gel, so I would like to see other nail artists like myself that work with lacquer. Right? I think that's the right term for the kind of polish I use, is just lacquer. There. I got all the latex. To gel X, the sound of a fingernail scraping on something makes you feel physically ill, so you keep your nails very short and tidy. That makes sense. What is the difference between gel and gel X, Rukia? Is it the difference between like hard and soft gel? And there's a controversy right now in the gel world too, because they're taking a certain ingredient out of it potentially, like it's being made illegal if I remember right. Oh, it's the technique. Okay, myself, gel and nail polish, and oh boy, to do nail art is so much easier with really with nail polish and not gel.
I would have thought that gel would be easier to do the nail art with. Because you can cure it. Okay, this time I didn't dump acetone on the floor, although I almost dropped the entire container. This is not a good day for me in acetone. All your gel to see if they... Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that, and I think it's a health risk or something. That's the concern. But it's this particular ingredient, this particular chemical that makes it so that gel went from being like highly unpigmented and you need like 1,000 layers to get it to do what you want, versus gels that are now like super pigmented and you can just wear them. Oop, wrong container. I need liquid latex first. For blending nail polish. Oh, that makes sense that nail polish would be easier. Highly cancerous for what you understood. Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I certainly don't want to get cancer because I had to have pretty nails. But then again, I also don't want skin cancer because I had to have tan skin, so I don't go to tanning booths. Maybe I'm not the right demographic to ask about this. This is about as close to being a pretty princess as I get, painting my own nails. And for all I know, in like 20 years, they're going to come out and be like, yeah, no, the polish that you were using was also highly cancerous. They just don't know it yet. Recent ones you already check and they are good, but you have a lot of old ones, so you'll need to sit down and check. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things too, right, about nail polishes and stuff. Especially like traditional lacquers, they don't go bad. Like, they have expiration dates on them because everything has expiration dates on them. But with a little bit of nail thinner, you can revive almost any nail polish. There are literally people out there who have made it their entire online identity. I'm not going to say like career or personality, but their entire online identity, that they find nail polishes from like the 1920s, the 1910s, maybe even earlier, and they work with like thinners and stuff, and they revive those nail polishes that have solidified and can use them. Banana oil is our best friend forever. Yeah. Yep. 100%, because I'm pretty sure that's what's in a lot of the thinners. Yeah. Like, they revive them. So nail polish truly, really and truly doesn't go bad so long as it doesn't start growing mold or something. Which makes it a nice investment because it means that I can have it. Well, I do have at least one nail polish that it technically went bad, and it's not because it dried up or anything, or it got moldy or gross. It's because it is no longer the color it was when I purchased it. It was a phenomenon that nobody expected, but makes sense, where Christine of Simply Nailogical and Hollow Taco released a collection in December 2018. So we're going back, 7 years now, for Christmas, and it was the Frosted Metals collection. It was the first of their kind that I had ever seen. I'm sure other people had done it, but one of the polishes with the little metal flakies in it tarnished. So this beautiful deep blue turned into this like off teal color. And it took months for people to have this happen. And then when they realized it, they were all comparing their polishes to see what color did yours turn. And I didn't think mine had turned until I looked at the actual photos of it. And I was like, oh, fuck. Love when they add the metal bit inside the nail polish because it prevents it to dry. Yeah, the shaker balls. They're definitely in here. If I had my matte top coat out, I could show it to you because they float so nicely in there. Yep. It's great. The little shaker balls are great, and they do help it stop from solidifying. But I will say, fucking chunky glitters, man. Chunky glitters like to solidify fucking regardless. They do not care. They just like evaporate away all of their liquid, and then they're a solid lump until you rethin it. I struggle with my glitters. I don't use them very often though, so some of them just sit to be pretty. Because fuck, glitters are a pain in the ass to get back off of your nails. They're such a struggle. It's ridiculous. Like, oh my god. I remember I did Lisa Frank nails at one point, and I'm probably going to do them again, just not with the same materials. Where the Lisa Frank official orally polishes came also with this topper that's like these little glitter confetti pieces. I'll grab it and show you when I finish this nail. And they solidify on your nail so strongly. I struggled to get this fucking topper off of my nails. I thought I was literally gonna have to file these pieces off. It was so bad. So that topper I will probably never use again unless I'm ready and willing to deal with the consequences. Because holy fuck. Glitter is a nightmare in general, Crispy. You are not wrong. Right, Rukia? Oh my god. And so Seamus and I go to get pedicures together every month. And the person that we go to see lets us bring the polish that we want. Because I have an extensive collection, and she typically does A and C. Obviously, she can work with just regular lacquer, but she typically does A and C, and her counterpart does gel. So we bring stuff, and Seamus always wants the glitter polishes, and every single time she's like, why do you do this to me? She always threatens him, too, to take a Dremel to his toes to get the polish back off. So every time he goes to pick one that's a glitter, I'm like, oh, Leslie's gonna yell at you. She's gonna yell at you. And he's like, well, she won't use the magnet to do the magnetic, so she's gonna have to put on the glitter. Watching you peel that liquid latex off is so satisfying, isn't it? Isn't it? Let me grab that one polish. Speaking of things that have kind of dried up, I think, a little bit, because it does sit near a thingy. This is called Hits the Spot. They're like little confetti things. It's literally Lisa Frank from Orly. I don't think it moves anymore. She's mean. I want magnetics. Some of it. That's some of my polish. I have polish over there. I have polish. I think you can see it above the bed back there. That's polish rack. In front of my computer screen is a polish rack. And then off to the side next to me is a shitload of polish. I think I have something close to 500 bottles of polish. I'm seeing if this will actually work. Just a little bit, Gothic Fairy. Only a little bit do I like nail polish. Yeah, I think this is... Well, no, it might just be goopy. I could thin it. Yep. It won't, like, mix, but yeah, like, they're solid pieces. They are literally solid pieces, so getting these back off of your nails, like, they just cement on. They're just fucking cement. She has more polish than I have ponies, though if you add the dinos, I might have more, right? If I could do my nails, I would be the same, but I can't do without it going literally anywhere but your nails. It's a skill. You can practice it. You can practice it, Gothic Fairy. Like, just get a nice color that you really like, that you're interested in having on your nails, and practice painting your nails once a week and wearing it as long as you could. Got more money in polish than you have in listen. It's entirely possible, Crispy. I really like nail polish. I really like painting my nails. I really like nail art. That's why I now have a dedicated YouTube to it. And you know, if that YouTube takes off and I can become a YouTube partner with it, that ad revenue, baby, will make a little bit of justification for the sheer amount of nail polish I have. When we do eventually, ideally, buy my dad's property and I can have my childhood bedroom back again as a, like, office, I will be designing and building custom nail shelves to hold all of my polish very sturdily. So cool to see such passion for what you enjoy. You love your plushies. They bring you joy. Exactly, Dova. If it brings you joy, go for it. Like, well, within reason. I'm not going to say if drugs bring you joy, 100% like, go get addicted to drugs. Like, that's not gonna be something I'll tell you. But if it's harmless, go for it. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. And one of these days I will probably do another glitter look on my nails, because fuck if the glitters aren't really pretty. Just not regularly. Because you have to be in the mood to be able to get it back off. I would be more inclined, I will say this, I'd be more inclined to do glitter on my nails after I no longer am working as a massage therapist. So when I'm older and retired, or if I have to retire early because my hands just literally can't fucking keep up. Which is a possibility. It is entirely a possibility. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Exactly, Dova. I would be more inclined to do glitter on my nails with longer nails, because then I can use what's known as a peely base coat. And peely base is literally a latex-based base coat. You paint it only in like the center of your nail and not to the whole edges, so that you can have a little bit of polish around the edges to adhere the polish to the nail. But the rest of it, it's got like a barrier layer between the nail and the polish. So then with glitter polish, you literally only have to break the outside edge and clean up the outside edge, and the rest just peels off with the base coat, and it doesn't harm your nail bed beneath. So someday when I have enough nail to do that with, I would be far more inclined to play with the glitter polishes, because I could use peely base. And they, like, the manicure will last at least a week because you have sealed around the edges. And that's all I want. I only want my manicures to last a week because I need to change them and do more art. You didn't know that was the thing? Yep, it sure is. It sure is. I use it occasionally if I'm doing swatching on my own hands. I will try to use peely base, and I'll try to just swatch like the middle finger where I have enough space to do that. Speaking of, I have a little bit that I have to clean up on this middle finger, because that way I don't need as much acetone. And when you're swatching, you can just go edge to edge with the peely base, and you let it dry, and then when it's time to switch colors, you just peel it off and move on to the next color, and it's a little less harsh on your nails to do it that way. The difference, though, is a peely base does not offer the same protections from staining that a standard base coat can offer you. And as you've seen with my nails, just because they can protect you from staining doesn't mean they do protect you from staining. There is a phenomenon in the nail art world that a lot of people will think you might be a smoker if your naked nails show, because they look like candy corn. And it's not that you're a smoker or anything. It's literally just that you wear nail polish so frequently and you change it so often that you're staining your nail bed, like the part that's already grown out, and that's what people are seeing is the stain from the lacquer. Oop, I didn't go up quite high enough on this one. That's okay. That's okay. We got this. Pick up all of the stuff off of the stamper head. Voila. Put the lid back on it to protect it from the fucking cat hair in this apartment. Because my furry assholes that I love dearly shed fucking everywhere. Oop, this may have dried out of acetone. Yeah, for the most part. I got a little bit of it out. The best part, the peel. And get out of there. That's right, you stick to the other silicone bit, or silicone, latex bit. Silicone will also usually stick to itself after a while. That's shut the fuck up, James. That's appealing. Oh my god. How dare you hit us with that incredible pun? How dare. Clean it up. Amazing what a little bit of acetone will do. And because this isn't black polish, it's not smearing and staying in my skin for the next 84 years. Exactly, Carrie. Dad jokes rule. You know, I remember the night, Seamus, that we were sitting in this very room and I was reading you dad jokes and you couldn't roll your eyes into the back of your head far enough, okay? I remember that. I remember you groaning immensely. I do. They weren't your dad jokes. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Pepperidge Farm remembers too, I bet. Let me get another cotton ball. A little cotton swabby with my pineapple. Oop. If I can grab it long enough to hook on. So that I can clean the plate out properly. Clean it out. Clean it out. Clean it out. Without tipping acetone onto the floor or potentially dropping the container out of my hands all over my lap chair, desk, and everything else in sight. While the silicone mat might be impervious to everything, the rest of this environment is not. I just want to give this a really good clean. Get all of the little purple bits out. Because obviously it's a little harder to get it out of the small details. But that's the cool thing about a stamping plate. You can really, really get some small details because it's etched. These plates are laser etched. So that cleans that up. And then the other thing we have to clean up, boop, is the card that we use to scrape everything. And this gives my stamping a little chance to fully dry on my nails because despite what it looks like, it is still a little damp. Not to the touch, but it'll easily rehydrate basically when I go to do the top coat. So we're just giving it that little bit of extra time. Well, that more or less cleans it. can be a good dad joke and still be a bad joke, not mutually exclusive. That is also true, Carrie. That is also very true. It goes without saying. Ugh. I'm getting, like, streamer nose itch here. In the worst way. In the worst way. And I need chapstick. So give me a moment here. The air is dry and my lips are drier. For 7 for the Phasma. I think, is it 7 or is it 8? I think it's 8, Seamus. The weekly challenge will also update. So now all we have left to do is to seal these down with a top coat. And I think I need just a tad more. You're so done with Edgefield. You could do Camp Shitwind. Just saying, Tommy E.T. and I were running Shitwind last night. Tad more acetone for this. I don't need a lot, I just need a little. Oh, nose. Stop it. Not solo. Well, that sounds like a you problem, Seamus. I'm just saying. Alright, nice glossy top coat. This is a quick dry top coat, so in 15 minutes of being on my nail, it will be basically dry to the touch. Kags, hello, you're streaking! Let's go! Finishing dinner and then you think you'll work on the community event for Call of the Wild, new cosmetic skins. Ooh! How are you, Kags? Alright, let's get top coating. Because even with top coat, you're still going to get it on your skin potentially, and you got to clean it up. So that's why I put more acetone in that little container. And I'm going to try not to hit my light slash. Phone camera holder. There we go. The only downside of the quick dry top coats, honestly, is as soon as you open that bottle up to air, that's it. It's going to start thickening. So I almost never make it to the bottom of a top coat bottle because I don't use it enough. Like painting your nails once a week, you just don't use it enough to get down there before it's really thickened up. That's the only downside. You can thin it. You can thin it 1 or 2 times. And then it won't be quick dry anymore. Just starting to wake up. Oh my goodness. You are the ultimate night owl, Kags. I think you're in my time zone. It's almost 6 o'clock. It's almost dinner time for Seamus and I. Another reason that quick dry top coat rules, because I will be able to eat din din. Which is good because I've had a protein bar today. That's it. 1 protein bar. Am hungry. This is how my life usually goes though. I get up, I take my meds, I wait until I'm able to have food because I'm not supposed to eat within 30 to 60 minutes of taking my meds. And then I go about my day. I have a protein bar and get distracted by doing things and forget to eat. I have to get really hungry for my body to remind me of, oh yeah, food is kind of important. Same time zone, you went to bed at like 5 a.m? Holy fuck. Either you do not have a regular job or you work night shift, don't you, Kags? Because those are some hours. I've been there.
I've definitely done the 5 a.m. bedtime thing, and it is miserable for my mental health.
So more power to you for being able to do that. There we go. Yeah, you can see the difference now between the shiny and the not shiny on the bats. You're retired adjacent. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense then. Because yeah, otherwise, it's really not a maintainable schedule for the average person.
Because most employment requires you to be up between the hours of like 7 a.m. and
9 p.m.
Which is why people
Working those shifts that require hours that are not normal for the circadian rhythm get a nice pay differential for being willing to deal with the bullshit.
So if you just naturally are like that, like, you get a pay differential for that. Oh my goodness, Tony! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome on in, Raiders. My name is Saknika, but you may also hear me called Sam. I am a member of the Everbright Global Gaming and Set the Tone stream teams and a variety streamer here on Twitch. Today we are painting our nails, but I also bake on stream, I play horror games, and I play cozy games, or chaos games if you don't find Played Up as cozy as you do chaotic. How are you, Tony? Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Hello, Collect. Hello, Tony. Hi. Hi. How are you? How was Dead by Daylight? Were you indeed dead before the daylight hit? You're doing well? I'm glad to hear that. I am glad to hear that. The nails look great. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys, if you haven't checked out Tony, 10 out of 10, you should. I don't know his stream schedule. I think it fluctuates, but he's funny and he's vulgar. What more do you need in life? Like, what more do you need in life? He's funny and vulgar. Did some rivals, ended a bit more on the lost side, broke even on the DVD matches. That's fair. I forgot that you also play rivals. Microwave shopping at the moment because Friday Hour said, peace, I'm out. No, Collect, that sucks. That sucks. I hate having to buy new appliances because you fall in love with the ones you've got and then you're like, no. No. And of course, Raiders, Tony, if you need to raid and run, if you got to go get that post-stream self-care, like, do not hesitate. I would love it if you wanted to stay and chat or lurk. If you wanted to drop a follow or whatever, like, you're more than welcome here. But if you're also like, holy fuck, I need to pee really bad, or the dog's got to go out, or you need to eat dinner, like, go do it. Like, go do it. Totally understand. I just really appreciate you bringing your community over here. Mostly weekends and mental health depending. That's fair. Mental health is important. You got to take care of it. You got to take care of it. Oh my god. A glossy top coat just slays. It's one of the little bits of slang I know how to use, you guys. It slays. Like, that so sucks on the microwave. That so sucks. Seamus and I technically need to find a new toaster, and we're just like nursing it along because everything out there seems flimsy. And I don't want a flimsy toaster. I want something sturdy.
Like, I'm so annoyed with toasters that we didn't put our camp stove toaster in the bus for storage, and I'm literally about to just be like, I'll just use this. I'll be lurking for a few. Gotta get some food. I've been cooking some orange chicken. It's making your apartment smell fucking amazing. Hell yes, Tony. Go get that orange chicken, and thank you again. Can I get one more shout out for Tony, please? Because I know sometimes it gets lost. And also, like, Stream Elements, hello, what happened to my alerts? Because I did not hear the raid alert go off. Maybe it was just me, but I did not hear it. Mongolian barbecue chicken yesterday. Yeah, it was tasty. I had a second helping and finished it, so there were no leftovers. And it wasn't Mongolian, it was Korean, Seamus. It's Korean barbecue chicken. There's a difference. Yes, all the pictures. We need all of the photos of the food. God, I love how a good top coat really just brings out the polish. It's all Asian at this point. It's I mean, you're probably not wrong. It is probably Americanized Asian. Since we just get a sauce packet and dump the chicken in. It's not like we're making it ourselves like the dashi sauce for oyakodon. Two nails to go. Speaking of Korean, I just cracked open a brand of kimchi I've not had before called Wild Brine, and it's so good. That's amazing, Dova. I have never tried kimchi. Fermented things and I don't always get along. And I don't like cabbage, which I'm pretty sure a lot of kimchi is fermented cabbage. If I remember right. The most authentic Oriental we do is Japanese. Yeah, because we do it from scratch. Exactly. We get all the right ingredients and we make it ourselves. Anything you get out of a packet is questionable, but tasty. Speaking of, I want Indian food again soon. Marissa mentioned tikka masala, and now I want it. So we're gonna have to go to the Indian place sometime this week, maybe. Maybe have Marissa and Ethan come over and 3 of us can get Indian and he can get whatever the fuck he wants since he doesn't care for Indian. He's tried it, so I'll give him that. He's tried it, but he just doesn't care for it. Oh, you ordered pizza for tonight. Oh. Well, that just breaks my heart that we're gonna have pizza. Dang, what a shame. Tragedy. Absolute nightmare right there. Pizza. Darn. We do have Outback tomorrow. We're going out with my bestie for her birthday. You can make kimchi with other veggies, but yes, it's usually made with nappa. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not a cabbage fan. Woohoo! They look so good, you guys. I love them. And you can see how they just kind of, like, the bats disappear a little bit. It's not as strong an effect as what was on, at least not under these lights, as what was on that one manicure. I know, they look funny upside down for you guys. There, that'll do. But they're so pretty, regardless. And they're simple. Like, this is definitely one of the more simple designs I've done I know some of them are not nearly as simple, right? They're definitely a little bit more of a, you gotta kind of know what you're doing in order to work with them. Thank you, Dova. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with them. I'm really, really happy with them. And I'm glad, like, you can see the difference that a longer nail makes. Because my fake nail obviously is much longer, especially compared to my pinky nail. Like, having more room gives you more of the effect, which is natural. No worries, Dova. Go run for that food. Whoopsies. Stop punching things, self. The plate I used, one of the things that I really like about it, and I just gotta work on prying it up off of the silicone mat. This plate, it's gradient effects with the items, so it goes from, I'll use the cleanup brush to point, it goes from like really densely packed to lightly packed, so it creates its own natural gradation, and it's got some fun designs on it. Like, we got ghosties, we got candy, we got eyeballs, witches flying on their brooms. I'm trying to get it in a spot where it's not glaring at you guys. The spiders, I think, are really kind of clever. I like them. I love the pumpkins. No, don't focus on my thumb. The candy corns. I am almost crazy enough with the candy corns to want to do that and paint them individually, but God, what a pain that would be. I love the witches' hats, and then there's little potion bottles. So, like, it's a really cute plate. It's really, really cute. So that's M39H from Maniology, which if you shop at Maniology, I have an affiliate code for you. I do get a small commission so long as you don't use, you dig the skulls, right? So long as you don't use Honey or similar, which is a browser extension. It's supposed to find you codes. It actually also steals the codes and steals the commission, which nobody knew until later on, and Honey is being sued over that. And it makes sense because I thought it was too good to be true when I saw it promoted and they were like, it's free to use. And I'm like, but you're giving us discounts. Something has to pay for this. Yeah, because it's stealing from people with the affiliate codes. Anyways, so if you shop at Maniology, you can get my discount in that way. The products I used today were Hollow Taco's Smoothing Base, because I have ridges in my nails due to my thyroid. So I use Smoothing Base to smooth it out. Now, if you are using something like a peel-off base coat, I will say this as well. You can put the peel-off base coat down first and then add this on top to smooth things back out. That is still an option, although if I'm using peel-off base for glitters, it doesn't fucking matter because the glitters are going to hide everything. Then from Hollow Taco's most recent collection, their first ever Halloween collection, because they are retiring doing Simply's birthday polish during it, I used Just Vamping, which is this beautiful purple crelly. A crelly being a mix between a creme and a jelly. So a true jelly would be a lot more transparent than this one is when it first goes on. So this has a little bit of opacity to it, but not as much as a full creme, but not as little as a jelly. So it's called a crelly. It's buildable, and I really like it. I want to get my hands on some actual jellies because I want to do some cool jelly effects, but I haven't. Over the top of this, I used Starly's Magma, which is a magnetic top coat. If I remember right, Collect actually got this for me, so thank you very much, Collect. I know Collect got me one of the Starly polishes, and Seamus got me the other that I wanted. And I don't remember who got me which, but I think Collect got me the magnetic top coat. I'm 90% certain. So Magma, like I said, is a magnetic top coat. So that means it gets pulled around by a magnet and changes. And that's the beauty of it, right? And it has a little bit of a gold flare to it, but it is relatively thin. In the bottle, like I can actually show you this, when you're just looking at it, you get it thin enough, you can see it dripping down the side. It actually looks more gray than than not because of the magnetic pieces. It really takes the magnet to bring out the beauty of it. So that is a top coat, turns any color into a magnetic polish. For the stamping, I used my favorite purple from Maniology. Like, I use this color so freaking much whenever I need a purple. I really need to make a challenge for myself to use something else. And this is B421 Baroque. It is great. It's a quintessential purple for me. I fucking adore this purple polish. I really do. I adore it way too much. More than I should. It's such a good color. I love this friggin' hue shade area of purple. That dark leans a little bit more towards the blue spectrum than the red spectrum of eggplanty purples. And then finally, we topped it all off with, of course, a quick dry top coat, which is Holo Taco's Glossy Taco. It is what it is for the name. The name actually came about because Christine would say glossy top coat constantly in her videos, but really fast, and it would sound like taco. So she became the brand owner of Holo Taco for Holo Top Coat, and all of her top coats are tacos, which is cute. To protect our skin, we used Maniology's Polypeel Cuticle Protector, which is just literally liquid latex. Maniology specifically does have a non-latex version of this for people who are allergic to latex. If you're not allergic to latex, though, Maniology is not the only company that has something like that. You can get it from other places. Why the tacos? That's why the tacos. Because she said top coat so fast it sounded like taco, and it just lived on in infamy. I think it was like after 5 years of saying it, she just literally started using taco instead because fuck it. So that is what we used today to make this glorious look that I'm going to be rocking for the next week, which makes me happy. I was testing it out yesterday and the day before. I think the day before. I think I was doing the testing Friday evening into Saturday, and I was just like, I want this on my nails now. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait to stream it. I want it on my nails now. And I had to hold myself back because I was really excited about this look. It's just so freaking pretty. It's so pretty, you guys. So, yeah. We've got fresh nails. We've got fresh nails. Yes. Thank you for the love, Carrie. Yes. So I'm going to bring you guys back over here so that you can see my lovely face. My beautiful, lovely face. And I can kind of bring them up. Yeah. And now with the lighting being different over here, I'm trying to move my hand so that it catches right. You can see how they just kind of disappear into the darkness of the magnet, but it still looks so good. It still looks so good. I'm really happy with them. I'm really, really happy with them. I love it too that you guys come out and hang out with me for nail art days, because you don't have to. There's so many people out there on Twitch doing so many different things, and it's also the weekend, so I recognize that, like, you got shit to do. You got places to be. It might be your time for self-care or whatever, and you don't have to be here. You choose to be here, and I always appreciate that. I find it really enjoyable to hang out with you guys, and I hope too that when I'm doing these kinds of streams, be it baking or nail art, excuse me, camera, could you also focus on my face, please? Thank you. That even if you don't want to be here actively chatting, you were forced to be here, Ryzen? Never. Also, hi, Ryzen, how are you? That it's something you can have up in the background to just, you know, chill and listen to and not have to focus on it. Like, it can be good background noise. Wrong timing. There's never such thing as wrong timing. Never. Not possible. So I am looking to see who's on, who's doing the stuff, the things, and all of the good energies, so that we can find a place to go hang out. To go chill. I'm actually a little surprised at how few people
are online right now. Absolutely, Dova. Thank you for being here. Like, either Twitch is not showing me everything, or people just aren't on this weekend. Let's see. Because I would like to bring you someplace that's maybe the same similar kind of like self-carry calm energy. I think there are fewer folks live today than you usually see this time. Yeah, right, Collect? It feels like there's not that many people online. Normally I have to scroll forever, and that is not the case right now. That is not the case at all right now. And I never have a plan for this, usually, which is half the problem. Panther, thank you so much for the resubscription. I appreciate it. 2 heckin' months. That's amazing. Welcome in. How are you? Feel like it's gonna be the same next weekend as well? It might be, Kags. It might be. It might be indeed. You know what? You know what? It is Phasmo, but I know that this streamer is super chill. So we're gonna go say hello to Don't Fight Ducks. He's a very calm presence in the Phasmo community. He is an official Kinetic Games partner at this point, so he is partnered with the developers of Phas. He is currently, it says it's Prestige Day, and he's working on the weekly challenge, which works for me, but he's really knowledgeable, so he can explain things about the game to you. He's going to behave calmly. He doesn't really swear all that much. It doesn't specifically say he's 18 plus or they're 18 plus. I know he uses he, they pronouns. But I don't think he's not 18 plus. I keep using he. I should really use they, but my brain is just defaulting because I'm hungry, and low sugar makes me not think clearly. So we're gonna go say hello to ducks before I completely lose my brain cells. They are currently leaking out of my ears. You guys, thank you so much for being here. If you're not already, get your booty in the Discord. I will share close-up photos of these in there. I always post the schedule in there. We chat about things in there. We have a venting section for where we need to complain. We have, you know, just a general bragging section for when we did something that we're really freaking proud of, even if it's just that you got rid of the depression pile of dishes in your sink. So like, get in there. Socials for if you want to follow me elsewhere. I'm as active as I possibly can manage to be on them. I will admit, like, I have phases where I'm really good and phases where I'm really bad. Right now I'm on a nail art kick, so the nail art channel is popping. If you are subscribed, you can use this first raid message with the mandalas. If you are not subscribed, then the second one with the hearts is there for you to use. I will be back on Wednesday. I am not sure what I'm playing on Wednesday, but that is when I will be back. Schedule will go up in the Discord tomorrow at some point. And I hope you'll be there to join me. I really hope you'll be there to join me. So in the meantime, friends, make sure you take a moment to practice some self-care. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you, because you matter. Thank you for everything, whether it was lurking, chatting, resubscribing, new subscribing, rating, following, just generally being an awesome human being. You chose to be here, you chose to support me, and I really appreciate you for it. Until next time, friends, have a great night.